97.3 The Fan. Let's get our heads right. Feels so good to be out here with the fellas. And, we're parked back here. We got all set up and ready to rock. The sun is rising in Arizona. It is a beautiful, beautiful morning. I am Woodsy. To my right is Benjamin Higgins. He's your friendly neighborhood sports anchor. Good morning, Benjamin.
Good morning. We've been here for some beautiful mornings. We've been here for some less than beautiful mornings. This one, top notch. About 60 degrees right now. It's going to get a little bit warmer today, but the sun was coming up with some beautiful, beautiful colors right to our left this morning. I think it's going to be a very good day, Woodsy.
Stunning stuff. And to Ben's right, the great Paul Reindl, executive producer of the program. Paulie, good morning to you.
Hey, how are you?
Doing good, buddy. How are you?
I am outstanding. What a morning. What a setup they got for us this year.
It feels
I'm in a really good mood.
I am too. I'm in a great mood. Hope springs eternal. Can't say that we felt this way yesterday. You know, we always do the recap of the drive out. There was one year we drove out where a guy was driving on the wrong side of the road and was barreling straight towards us. We could have been killed easily, head-on collision. That was pretty creepy. Yesterday was a bit it was a bit dicey as well. I got the standard speeding ticket, as I do every year. So that's just goes without saying. Every single time I drive out here, I was booking it pretty good, no question about it. He did give me a little bit of a break on it. California Highway Patrol doing his job. It's on me, 100%. Take responsibility for that. I was hauling ass.
Why were you in such a hurry?
I was trying to catch you. I really was. That's exactly what I was doing.
You eventually did. Despite 2 extra stops and a speeding ticket, you eventually did catch me between Yuma and Gila Bend.
Gentlemen, how we doing?
What's up, boys?
At some point. So I'm sorry that you got the speeding ticket.
Yeah, it's fine.
You're not the first. You won't be the last.
No, it was not. But no, so I got my standard speeding ticket. Then we're cruising in pretty good, and I'm gonna wait for Jackson and Crony to walk away before I tell the next story.
All right, you're good.
Because so we got a text on the way in that said, "Hey,
we're about 10 minutes away from Yuma at this point.
So we're
2 hours in,
about to hit lunch, and listen, man, in this gig, you have to be fluid. You have to be able to move around. You have to be malleable, right? You have to be able to change course. Storm's coming this way, you got to be able to change and go another way. Go around if you have to. Well, we got a text from our people, and they said we may have a slight issue tomorrow. and
this is the second one of those.
Right, and by slight I mean major. There's a chance that Shilty gives these guys kind of a what they like to call a show and go day. So listen, if you got treatment, you want to come in, get a little extra work, fine. Don't break your back getting in here early tomorrow, which would be today. So Paulie, and if Shilty had decided to drop that hammer and said, guys, go ahead, just come in about 11:30, we're done. We are sitting out here on the back patio, just shooting the breeze for 4 hours.
No one's here.
So Paulie and I were a wreck.
It was about noon, and we had from noon till about 7 p.m.
Yeah,
nothing but
just anxiety and panic.
Nauseous-inducing anxiety.
So I'm sitting there, and I'm literally racking my brain for ideas like, all right, so again, we'll be fine. We've done 4-hour shows with no interviews before. It will look weird being out at fantasy camp talking to 0 players or personnel. So that would have been a little odd. So we were in full-blown panic mode on the whole drive. So it was not a comfortable drive. I'd already gotten the ticket. And we're driving out, and we as soon as we turn the corner, we're on the home stretch. We got about 40 minutes left. Massive accident. And I mean massive accident.
You weren't in it.
No, I wasn't in it.
It existed on the 10 freeway west of Phoenix.
It was, and so we are just sitting, rotting, parked on the freeway the whole time. So listen, it happens. These kind of things happen. We did get through it. We all got to the house. Then we got the text that said, nope, everything's good tomorrow. Fear not, nothing to worry about. But I think the thing that I was most concerned about, it's probably my co-host. It's Ben Higgins. And there's a couple of reasons for this. So as we were leaving Mr. G's, where we all had lunch, we wanted to do the divide and conquer bit, right? Like we all have a lot to do when we get in. Ben, you go to the Peoria Sports Complex, which is where we are now. You grab our credentials. we will go to the grocery store. We will load up on some necessities for the house. We'll get locked in there, and we'll see you at the Airbnb. So we walked. I asked him at Mr. G's in the parking lot, all right, we're going to go to the grocery store. What do you need? He goes, nothing, just water. And I said, oh, okay, that's it? Yep. All right, well, text me if you change your mind or anything pops in your mind. No problem. We get to the grocery store. I text Ben again. Ben, we're here. We're at the store. I got everything at my fingertips. What would you like? Ben writes back, nothing, water. And I'm sitting there going, are you like a psycho? Like, what kind of psycho? Nothing. No snacks, no cashews, no almonds, no popcorn, no nothing.
Yeah, I've tried to cut out snacking between meals, so why just give myself the temptation of having a big bag of something that I probably shouldn't be eating?
Well, because your two chubby co-hosts are definitely going to get snacks. So we're getting
That's
snacks.
fine.
We didn't even go crazy.
We
No,
did not
you're
go
fine.
crazy at all. We literally got cashews and popcorn.
Plus, we're only here for 2 more days.
72 hours?
Yeah, I mean, less than that now. We've got 48 hours left, and for 52 hours left, and we're going to be heading home.
So what?
We're going to be here most of the time. So I just figured that would just be a waste. It's
So-
snacks that I'm probably not going to eat. When am I going to have time to eat them?
I don't know. When you're sitting up till midnight watching a basketball game, how about that? So that's one. So then it's about 6:00, and we'd eaten a pretty big lunch, and we were like, but we got to eat something, right? I mean, the company's paying for it. So I said, let's go get like a sandwich or something light. Ben's like, no, I'm going to go for a walk. So me and Paulie go to dinner, and there's Ben just walking around the neighborhood by himself. I'm like, he might be a serial killer. No snacks, no dinner.
Actually, did go get dinner about 8:30 before the Aztecs game.
8:30.
Yeah.
I was so dead asleep by 8:30.
I don't usually eat until
What'd you
after I went to actually it's a pretty good sushi place down the street.
You ate sushi in Glendale.
I did, and it was excellent. Yellowtail was the name of the place. If anyone wants to check it out, off of
All right, yeah, Yellowtail.
like the fish. Yellowtail.
It's the way you said it. Yellowtail is how you say. You said yellowtail.
I thought, well,
You're a yellow snake.
You're a crumb creep.
you really have no idea because we took separate vehicles out here, and I was actually kind of relieved because remember on the way back from fantasy camp, you came with me,
Yes.
which meant either I was going to wear it for whatever I was listening to on my drive, which was golf but now I knew.
But you did it. I didn't make you wear it.
You didn't. Well,
I wore it.
You did mention it later, though.
Oh, yeah, of course.
This time on the drive, I turned on a couple of things as we were leaving San Diego, and it just wasn't feeling it. So I just didn't listen to anything. Sounds of the road.
Oh,
The entire time.
my.
The entire drive. I made a couple of phone calls. That's about it. No music, no sports talk radio.
What were
no
you
podcasts.
watching?
What were you watching
There's
on
a
your
map.
phone?
When we passed
Oh, a
you?
map.
I was just looking at the map.
Okay.
Because we passed you,
Checking
you kept putting your head down and looking.
Yeah, it was that
I
was
thought you were watching an adult film or
no,
something.
that's kind of like the airplane when you're just looking at the map of the
Oh, you
screen.
just
I like to see how close I am and how much time has passed since we
Dateland.
have left. Yeah, we got Dateland coming up. Oh,
Yuma.
So you listened to nothing on the drive. You only wanted water.
And you're trying to tell us you're not a psycho?
Yeah, you're not a serial killer.
I'm just living a nice ascetic lifestyle.
Good God. He's like, yeah, when we go to spring training, I want it to feel as much like Guantanamo Bay as I can make it. Like I really want to feel what it's like to be in solitary confinement for 72 hours. So I'm just going to torture myself.
I would have asked for bread then.
I had a theory.
Yeah, McKee said you raw dogged the drive.
I
You
did.
raw dogged
I
it.
did.
You did. You
I
raw
did.
dogged. You raw dogged.
I did while I was driving, but I mean, the pilot, I assume, does the same thing in the plane.
No,
they're
he's
actually-
talking to people. And,
listen to podcasts the whole time. Hopefully not.
You are You are truly. I had no idea that this happened. That is, you're incredible. You are just incredible. My theory was that Adam got you so spun out about the expenses that you're like, I'm not fine. I don't need snacks. I'm not expensing those, right? I
No,
just paid for them.
I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm fine. I feel good today, though. I feel good and ready to go. Should be a good. We've got 12 hours on the air. We got players who will be arriving shortly, and I'm very excited about our next 3 days.
You are. The chat is going crazy right now about what an absolute trip that you are. This is truly amazing. I had no idea you raw dogged it. But I mean, so you stayed up and watched the game last night.
I did. You said good night to me at about 7:30.
Mm-hmm.
Then at 8, I turned on the first half of the Lakers game, went to get some food, watched the Lakers game while I ate, then came back, watched the first half of the Aztecs game, watched the end of the Lakers game at halftime, then watched the second half of the Aztecs game and went to bed around 11:30, 11:45.
I can't even imagine.
4 hours after you said goodnight to me.
I was so cashed. The drive, I drove the whole way, but it was anxiety ridden, knowing the text that we had gotten. And then, of course, the traffic didn't make
The
it.
traffic, there were more cops and
dude,
border patrol than
there
I've
was
ever seen on that drive.
There was a full-on drug stop. There were dogs at a random spot, like on the highway. It wasn't
not at one of those stations.
Not at the station.
Just in the middle of
in the
the
middle
desert.
of the road. There
At,
was
like middle of nowhere. It was like 20 minutes outside of El Centro, maybe.
It was wild.
The drug sniffing
wild.
dog was very cute.
He was cute.
Very
He was
cute
cute.
dog. Yeah,
But it
very
was
cute dog.
It was just a weird day. So hopefully today goes a lot better. I'm sure it will. It's already gone better. It's a beautiful day. We got a lot to get to today. Very excited.
Well, I just saw our best friend for the week is Craig Huner, who
Yeah.
is the head of PR for the San Diego Padres. He just walked in and he just told me, he's like, all right, I'm going to get in there, start getting to work, bringing these guys over here. So
Get this thing fired up, dude. I'm so ready.
We don't have a whole lot of direction on these shows.
You guys know that.
but
You guys have been through these shows with us before,
This
man.
is a start at 6, wrap
Finish-
up at 10.
finish at
Be
10.
with us the whole time because
Yeah.
you're not going to want to miss anything.
Yeah, in honor of my sushi last night, we're going to have an omakase menu. The chef is just going to serve you
just gonna
courses,
serve us.
surprise you as we go. You're not going to have a menu laid out for the program today like I usually do.
All right, we'll sit back and just get some yellowtail.
And we will just find out what's on the program.
All right.
When we come back, Kelly's going to check traffic back in San Diego first thing, and then we are off and running. Padres spring training, Ben and Woods live from Peoria, Arizona. Just getting the sun just creeping over the buildings and the fields here in Arizona on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Back live, Ben and Woods, Peoria, Arizona. Joe Musgrove just walked by and said hello during our break. I was afraid to touch his arm, but he looked good. He said,
looked great.
You're fine. You can shake it and everything. No damage can be done at this point. He's all fixed up and looking pretty good.
Even funnier was Xander Bogaerts walked by and he saw us here, and then he did the fake phone call that I do when I go into the grocery store.
It's a veteran move.
He really was. Yeah. He was like, "Oh, hey, everything's good. Send him over." I was like, "That's savvy, dude. That's a savvy veteran move by Xander." I mean,
avoid the radio host as you come in
100%.
by faking a phone call. Now, very smart.
To the the other end of the extreme, the great Jake Cronenworth never avoids this. He always sits down with us. Crony, welcome back to the program. It's only been a few weeks since we sat with you. How are you? Get his mic popping. There we go. Benny, that's all you do.
I thought Paulie had
it.
You
got to get that mic on.
I'll take your word for it that it's Jake Cronenworth. I'm staring directly into the sun, so I got no idea who's sitting there. No, you're good. No, sit right there. You're good. On camera, so everyone back home can see you. I'm of least concern here. But, we talked to you at FanFest, so this is a nice soft landing for us just to catch up on how you've been the last, I don't know, what has been, about 4 weeks since we saw you?
Yeah, something like that.
How's camp going?
It's been good, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been smooth. It's been refreshing. It's the same group of guys, same coaching staff, and everything's going really well.
And some of the new guys coming in, swinging it pretty well, man. Always kind of fun to see. I can't wait to ask Schulte about this too, and you can probably speak to it. You hear all the time, and we in the media certainly talk about, oh man, there's this competition, this open competition for left field, or maybe there's going to be some room at catcher and guys can really make a name for themselves. You've kind of been part of those competitions. How does that work for the player? We know how we view it in the media, but for the player, how does it work?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is like you're coming into camp and like you're going to play a lot early on.
Yeah.
Like, I think you've seen like Eggy.
Yeah.
Like he's played almost every game.
Yep.
I was talking to him the other day and he's like playing again. And I'm like, no, it's good. Like you're getting opportunities and doing your thing.
He's making the most of them too.
Exactly.
And that's the really fun part to see it. It kind of blew my mind when I found it. He's like the longest. He's been in this organization longer than anyone.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we found that out the other
surprising.
day. He's been here a while, and obviously has a lot of talent. And when they do something where they move you from a position that you're used to playing and ask you to play a different position, that's a whole nother layer, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be, whether I know he played left field a couple days ago, and he's been playing third, played some second. I think he may have DH'd one game, but no, I mean, it's, they're not easy days because you're working on those different spots. You're taking fly balls in left field, even though you may be playing third in the game or whatever you may be doing. But no, I mean, it's good. It helps you get comfortable at whatever spot is maybe new for him, which is, kind of that left field spot.
Yeah.
Jake, I think we talked a little bit about it at FanFest, but the difference between last year and this year in terms of having Mike Schild and almost all of this coaching staff back, you're not getting ready to go to Korea and kind of accelerating everything. What's the different feeling this year compared to last year at this time?
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of our first real spring training since, I don't even know, 2021 maybe?
That's right.
And no, it's been refreshing. It's nice. It's, guys have their schedules. You know what days you're playing. What work you're getting in that morning if you're not in the lineup. And just kind of the cohesiveness between the guys and the coaching staff has been awesome.
Okay, we got Jake Cronenworth here with Ben and Woods this morning. Give me your favorite part of spring training, like as far as the work and stuff goes, and then give me the worst part. Give me the one where you're like, oh my god, it's got to be base running, isn't it?
What did you say, base running?
The worst, right?
We do a pretty good job.
It's like make it fun.
Yeah, I mean,
he's not you or me. We hate running. Obviously,
we make it intentional and like it's quality work, so it's not like you're not getting gassed. But no, it's good. I mean, it's not anything that you dread doing. I would say the funnest part about spring training, I mean, like those first few days are always so fun, like re-seeing everybody and, being back out on the field and getting back in the swing of things.
Literally.
Literally. I don't know. The worst thing, getting sunburn.
Yeah. It's very just dry.
Jake, you are very fair skinned.
Yes. He's got that Rindle skin on him. Yeah. It just zaps you. The minute you get out of here, your lips get chapped. Your face gets all dry.
Your nose gets blocked.
Your nose
up,
gets blocked up.
or everybody's like, the first couple weeks, even now, like, everybody's getting sick.
Yeah.
And then everybody's getting sick. So
oh, dude,
it's like one guy gets it, and then 4 guys get it, and then everybody's got it.
yeah, you forget it's a little bit like a barracks in there. You know what I mean? You got 60 guys kind of running around. There's no way around it. Oh man, that's tough.
So I don't know if you remember, but at FanFest, you made a request for the next time that you were going to join the program.
Yes. Do you remember the request?
You said you wanted to do some trivia.
Oh, yeah.
We got you.
Yeah.
Right,
so I got you.
Perfect.
So, he does his musical trivia every single day, but I thought, I don't know what kind of musical expert is Jake. So I've got a mystery category, 5 questions, 60 seconds.
Okay.
Now, here's the deal. I'm not going to tell you what the theme is, but you'll figure it out as you go. So if you are not sure of an early one, you can pass.
As long as it's not music or movies.
It's not music. There is a movie question or two,
Okay.
but I don't know. We'll see if you can figure it. So you can pass and then figure it out as we go
Okay.
because the theme will kind of work itself out. So Frank, back in the studio, if you put 60 seconds on the clock,
Okay.
Better speed through it.
your time begins when I start the first question. Good luck, Jake.
Take on Crone.
Take on Crony. Here we go. Which back-to-back Cy Young Award winner in 2018 and 2019 began his college baseball career as a shortstop at Stetson University?
Jacob deGrom.
Correct.
Wow.
Which actor was nominated for an Academy Award for his portrayal of Jack Twist in the 2005 film Brokeback Mountain?
Ooh.
You can pass.
Pass.
All right.
Which boxer and rival of Sugar Ray Robinson was nicknamed Raging Bull? Pass.
I wasn't even alive.
That's right. Actor Kevin Miles plays which friendly insurance agent in a series of commercials often seen during sporting events, including the Super Bowl?
Mayhem.
No.
Who's the guy?
Yeah.
No, the name of the character.
The character is Jake from State Farm.
Oh.
Which 1990 movie does Tim Robbins play a Vietnam veteran who returns home only to devolve into madness after suffering from disturbing hallucinations?
He hasn't picked up on the category.
He hasn't picked up in the category.
Are these all Jakes?
Yeah.
They're all Jakes.
Yeah.
You got it
There we
now.
go. Okay,
Time's up.
It's Jake.
Oh.
It's Jake. It's
You got
Jake.
Jacob
The answer's
deGrom,
Jake.
Jake Gyllenhaal, Jake
Gyllenhaal.
LaMotta, Jake from State Farm, and Jake Jacob's Ladder. So
Jacob's
that was
Ladder's
all.
an old ass
That's an old
movie.
one, yeah.
It's
That's
an
before
old-ass movie.
before Jake's time, but there weren't a lot of Jacob
those were
movies.
before my time outside
They
of
were.
State Farm and deGrom.
That's fair. That's fair.
You got deGrom though. That was
So-
good right away.
If you had done baseball trivia, I would have been
Well,
like,
you're a
that's-
baseball player.
That's easy. It's baseball trivia. You got that right away. Jacob deGrom. I didn't realize he was a shortstop.
Yeah.
Not
Wanted to be a
surprised.
pitcher. You were a shortstop.
You ever
Kind of
face
wanted
him?
to be a pitcher.
oh yeah,
How's he?
tough.
Nasty.
Yeah,
So nasty. I bet. When he's out there, he's the one
do
with
have one
nasty.
hit off him though. There we
You got a knock off him?
one hit. Yeah,
Yeah, dude. I love that you guys remember that too. I guess if I got a hit off Jacob deGrom, I'd probably remember it. There's one of those that sticks in your memory.
yeah,
Yeah. How's the swing feeling? How's everything feeling?
Feel
Body
good.
body feels good.
yeah. Everything
Good.
feels great.
Good, man. We're excited for the season. For you guys too. Like, just it's kind of cool. Like we talked about. There's always a ton of new faces in and out, in and out, in and out. Like, who's impressed you so far? And I know you said you were talking to Eggy, but some of the other guys that are kind of the new guys.
Guy that's impressed me so far. And there's some really good young pitchers that we have. I haven't.
Is it Bradley or Bradley?
Bradley?
It is
It
Bradley.
is Bradley.
Okay, because there's a
Bradley
C in his
Rodriguez,
name. But
It's
Yeah.
spelled Bradley.
Yeah,
He's nasty.
I faced him in a live BP, my first live BP, which probably wasn't a good idea because he was he's throwing 97, and I was not ready for, like 2 weeks ago. Like, they're like, hey, show up when pitchers and catchers. I got here, and it was like, all right, live BP against Bradley. Now he looks really good, and he's it's a really good arm with a good changeup, and I think he's working on some other stuff. I haven't seen him throw yet, but Braden Nett.
Yeah, heard a lot of good things about him
Yeah.
too. Yeah, that's awesome.
No, there's a lot of really good young arms in there that hopefully can make an impact at some point.
I just can't imagine you have to face those guys in batting practice.
Yeah,
That
it
just
doesn't seem fair.
right.
Well,
It
it's all they're so much more ready than we are.
Yeah,
at times.
100%.
But also, it's like you're on the backfields, and like your intensity is at the lowest you possibly could think it is. You're still competing, yeah,
Sure,
but at the same time, it's so different
it's different.
than getting in a game or even when the season starts. Like, it's crazy.
It's he's getting a lot of. They showed a little video of him yesterday. He's got a lot of poise for a 21-year-old, and man, there's some really exciting arms. to think about. How about the lefty that came over from the KBO?
Kyle
Kyle
Hart.
Kyle
Hart,
Hart. Yeah, Kyle Hart.
Yeah, I faced Kyle Hart in college actually
Oh, that's right.
when he was at Indiana. He
How'd
was
you
on
do off
their
him?
College World Series team. I don't know.
Don't remember.
Great question. They were so good and we were average.
Average.
So he probably dominated us, and so did the other two guys and their whole bullpen. And I mean, their team was so good. They had Schwarber, Sam Travis.
Good God.
There was another guy who like led college baseball in hits. Like they went to the College World Series.
Yeah, it's a good team.
Before you go, are you going to Glendale today for the
I
White
am going
Sox
to
game?
Glendale
You are
today.
playing today.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, get in there and get off the tee or something. Get some work in. Do something. Sitting here shooting the breeze.
Game's at 1 o'clock.
Hey,
Do you
Can't
want
get
to
too much work.
admit to him what we talked about in the first segment
what?
about the show and go?
Oh, yeah. So we had gotten a text yesterday that said, hey, we may have a problem. Schulte may give these guys a show and go day. And we said, well, we're dead. If these guys get a show and go day, they're not going to come in till 11. We won't have anybody to talk to.
I show up at the same time.
Yeah, okay,
every
I
day.
figured, and
that's
I
why
knew
we figured there'd be
I
some
knew
guys.
there would be guys
who
like
get there early.
you guys that were early guys. T-Wade just walked by. Like I knew that would be okay. But so thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you for
we
being
were,
early.
We were really nervous that maybe nobody.
I knew
would
you
be
guys
here.
were coming.
All right, good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Did Schulte announce it? Said
No.
make it as difficult on those guys
He
as you
did
can.
not.
All right, good,
No.
good. Okay.
Jake, it's good to see you as always. We'll be here for the next
Absolutely.
couple of days, so I'm sure we'll cross paths. But good luck the rest of spring training from
Thanks,
all of
guys.
us.
Thank you, buddy.
Jake
Sure.
Cronenworth, always one of our favorites. First guest of the week for Ben and Woods here at Padres Spring Training in Peoria. We're going to take a quick time out. When we come back, who knows who's coming out next, but we'll continue with the guests live from Padres Spring Training. We can talk, Jackson Merrill. If Paulie thinks maybe Jackson Merrill is coming out next as well. So stay tuned for that on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We're off and running here. Jake Cronenworth just joined us. It is Ben and Woods live from Padres spring training in Peoria, Arizona. After a little bit of juggling, I understand Joe Musgrove's actually going to come back out before he works out. So we're going to get caught up on Joe's progress, his rehab from Tommy John surgery. Certainly looking good. Not that he ever hasn't looked good,
Sure.
but I'm curious about the process. Like going under the knife for Tommy John surgery. And he's coming out now. So let's check traffic, and then when we come back, Joe Musgrove with us here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Can't do a report without mentioning the foggy conditions, guys. Yeah, you definitely want to leave extra time for travel. Please be extra alert once you're out there. Dense fog advisory along the coast till 9 o'clock this morning. Speaking of coastline, South 5 past Las Pulgas got this big rig that went off the roadway. Large tow truck is on scene helping to retrieve that. And another problem involving a big rig, got a stall big rig on the Poway Road on-ramp to southbound 15. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, sitting down with us right now, kind of the heart and soul of this team, even though he won't be in the starting rotation, at least at the start of this season. Joe Musgrove is with us here from the back patio of the Peoria Sports Complex. And as you walked in, I mean, you look good, Joe. How do you feel? How's the arm? What are we, about 4 months since surgery?
Yeah,
now?
I believe middle October was the date. I think the 13th. So I think I'm coming up on 5 months here. I'm supposed to be able to start throwing around 6 months. I feel great right now. The rehab has been, really, really smooth. I haven't had any setbacks, knock on wood. My program as far as, weightlifting and training and stuff has been, right where I should be. I feel like I'm actually a little bit ahead of schedule. So I've been very patient. I've been very diligent with the work. And, now that I'm a month away from throwing, I'm not going to push myself and cause a setback this late in the rehab. So I'm very close to hitting that next phase of throwing, and I'm going to make sure I get there healthy.
Well, and we were I saw the article that came out, and I think what spoke to me was the way that your teammates talked about you being around. And I don't know that it's the same for every rehabbing pitcher on every single team that they necessarily want somebody around. But with you, it was different. The people always said, no, we want Joe around. He's an invaluable resource as far as getting us ready and helping us. That had to feel pretty good to hear from your teammates.
Yeah, that's a great feeling, and that's not something that I'm searching for with the decisions that I make. I'm not looking for validation or for somebody to praise me. Part of it is, being a good teammate. I want to be around for the guys. I do feel like I add some value to the team, whether it's leadership wise or, just simply the way I work and having people around to kind of follow my lead. But another part of it is, for myself, for the ability to stay around the game and stay up to date with the things that are happening. I hate missing road trips. Even last year when I had some of those issues with the elbow and I didn't go on the Colorado trips, missing 3-4 days and the guys come back, you feel like you've missed the whole season.
Yeah, I was going to ask, that's got to be a really difficult thing for a ball player that's recovering from something, knowing all the homies are out and they're fighting and they're battling and you're just kind of sitting at home. Probably can weigh on you a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to watch, and then the guys get home from the road trip and they're telling stories and they're laughing. I'm like, what are we talking about? What's going on? You just feel like you're gone. Yeah, so that's part of it. And then I don't want to lose my edge for the game, and I feel like being around the game and investing myself into the games as if I were the one that was going to be taking the ball. The anticipation, the preparation, the stress and nerves that a starter goes through leading up to a start. I don't want to lose the feeling of that. So I try to stay around as much and be involved as much as I can.
So last season, Joe, obviously it's competitive advantage to not let the opponent know what you might be going through. But you kind of knew this was coming for a while. The ligament was starting to go, and you were trying to battle all the way through. You made it into that playoff start against Atlanta. What was that like for you, knowing at any moment it could be the pitch that, all right, this is it, and then I'm going to be out for, a year plus?
Yeah, I mean, a little more stressful earlier in the year. I had seen a couple doctors back in like June, July, and they told me I had a pretty significant tear in there. And basing what they told me off of how I felt, the two didn't match up necessarily. They told me a significant enough tear where they were ready to do surgery, and I felt like I had plenty of juice left in the arm to continue throwing. And at this point, I knew there was damage, and I had kind of come to peace, with the idea that there's a good chance it goes by the time I took the mound for that Braves game. And, not to make myself sound like some hero, because I know there's plenty of guys that have thrown through injuries before and probably thrown through worse. But I think anybody at this level that's getting paid what I'm getting paid and has the opportunity to pitch in the postseason is going to take the ball. So, I knew what the risks were and I knew what I was getting into, and it came a little sooner than I expected. The hardest thing, I think, was going into that game. That was the last result that I had pictured happening, was walking off the mound in the middle of the inning. I thought, if anything, maybe it doesn't go my way and I get rocked, and that's going to be the worst that it could happen. So it was tough to sit with for a while, but again, I kind of had the idea that there was a chance it could happen, and it was, somewhat easier to sit with.
Talking to Joe Musgrove here on Bennett Woods this morning, and yeah, man, nobody here, nobody in that clubhouse liked how the season ended last year, certainly. But you got young players on the team. You've been through it. You've been through it. You've been to the top of the mountain. So how hard was it to kind of put your arms around some of those guys in there and let them know, hey man, we can be back. We can do this again. What was the kind of the mood like when the season ended?
Yeah, very somber, man. I mean, you get so close, and we've been working since February of last year. It's a long season and a lot of time put in. And, to have it end like that is, it's really hard to sit with, and it happens so fast. Rug just gets ripped out underneath you. But I think as a group, we feel really good because we have, most of the staff coming back with a few additions that are going to be really big for us. The core of our players are all coming back again with a few additions that are really going to help us. And I think the progress we made last year as a team and as a family unit is only going to get stronger, having that same core group of guys coming back with, a little taste of what that looks like. So
I got to imagine too, one of our favorite Padres we got a chance to meet and spend some time with last year was Higgy. We loved Higgy.
Yeah.
Higgy was great. Really assimilated into the team. Now he's with Texas, and we got some new catchers in. We got some catchers that have been here before. Is that something that you also take upon yourself to kind of work with those guys to get everybody all kind of symbiotic together,
Yep.
like working together? So how's it been with the new catcher so far?
Yeah, man. I mean, that pitcher-catcher relationship is so important. And it's tough, a new catcher coming into organization. You have 6 weeks to learn 40 new arms, and what they like to do, learn their mentality, learn the way that they operate. So yeah, it takes a lot of effort on the pitcher's side to sit down and explain and find windows throughout the day to sit and talk with your catchers, whether it's at the lunch table or on the bench during the game. That's crucial. And these catchers are here at 6 a.m. every morning. Some of the last guys to leave, these guys are working tirelessly to make sure that they're prepared and ready. So we got to a really good point with Higgy last year, and we got, Martine and Sully and Campy and Diaz, who we worked with a little bit last year, guys that have some experience in the game and some that have been around us for a little while. So I think we feel good with where we're at.
Joe, it's almost funny that I don't know this, but the Tommy John surgery, hundreds of pitchers have now gone through it. And actually, it was my grandfather, Dr. Curlin, and his partner, Frank Job, who developed the surgery.
Yeah. That's his grandfather.
And my grandpa passed away about 30 years ago, but yeah, they was right there, cutting edge procedure when they performed it on Tommy John for the first time. What is it like, though? Where did they take the ligament from? Was it from your leg?
Yeah,
they move it into your elbow?
I don't know if there's a standard for what guys usually do. I chose to do the palmaris, which is the forearm ligament right there. Yeah, and kind of an irrelevant ligament from what I've learned. Some people have it, some don't. It doesn't really serve a lot of purpose. You're fine to operate without it. It creates a little bit of scar tissue issues in the wrist, but I kind of figured I'd rather have one arm bandaged up than an arm and a leg, or both arms. So,
so are you completely like out and under for the whole surgery? And then you wake up, and what's it like?
Yeah, it's a pretty short surgery. I think it's about 45 minutes. I had, some flexor issues that they repaired. I had some bone spurs. They did a little microfracturing to kind of, regenerate some of the growth in the back of the elbow. So it was maybe an hour 15, an hour 20, but he said it went extremely smooth. I wake up and some of the worst pain I've been in. I try not to take the pain meds, with any operation I've had.
It's tough.
Partially just to kind of feel what I'm feeling. And I don't want to, ever run into the issue of getting stuck on those things.
Slippery slope.
Yeah, man, So, but I mean, after like 2 days, I was in a lot of pain. I had the surgery on a Friday, I believe. I think it was the day of Game 5 against the Dodgers. And, sitting in my hotel room feeling like hell.
That's a really bad day.
Dude, I had to leave the hotel and walk. Me and my girlfriend, fiance now, we left the hotel and walked a lap or two around AT&T, the Cowboy Stadium.
Yeah.
Just to clear my head, man. I was in a bad spot. But yeah, the first few days were really, really rough, man. And then about a week and a half in, I felt, a lot better, was more tolerable. And it's just been, easy cruising since then.
I broke my elbow in college, and the next time I picked up a baseball, I was so terrified. It's just a scary feeling to throw or swing a golf club or whatever it may be. Obviously, I wasn't getting paid to be a professional baseball player. For you, how I guess anxious are you to get the ball in your hand and just kind of let it eat for a minute?
Yeah, I'm excited, man. This is the longest I've had off of throwing a baseball since I was probably 7 years old.
That's amazing.
I haven't been through this before. I'm in a little bit of uncharted territory, but I'm really trusting the rehab program. I'm trusting, the opinions and the experience of guys that have had it before. I've had a ton of phone calls with doctors, with ex-players, with current players that have had the operation, some guys that have had two, and, tried to create the best program to get back the most efficiently. And a big part of that is being patient on the front end of the surgery. You don't throw for 6 months. Some doctors do 4 months, but Keith Meister in Texas has had a really high success rate with his guys, and they don't throw until at least 6 months. So I've been told to be very patient on the front end and don't push yourself. And then, maybe when you're on the mound in the 8-9 month mark, you can kind of make up a little bit of ground then. So everything that I've been told and the program that I followed hasn't let me down yet. So I'm going to kind of stay true to it. But yeah, I'm very excited to throw the ball. And obviously there's concerns of, is it going to be the same? Am I going to, have issues? Is there going to be setbacks? And I'm sure there will be at some point, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Well, I like to think too. You read those stories all the time. The guy gets TJ and comes back and actually is throwing better than he ever has before. So let's keep that headspace.
Yeah,
all
absolutely,
of us.
Man.
That's
absolutely.
what I'm going to.
That's kind of been a big part of my thing too. Like, I would love to be the guy that, sets a record and comes back in 11, 12 months and is, pitching lights out in the playoffs. But obviously I'm very aware that the odds of that aren't very great. But my preparation, my mindset, my training, everything has been geared around being back in October. And if we're a month away and I'm not there and it's, out of reach, then I'm fine with, putting the ball down and getting ready for 26. So.
By the way, congratulations on the engagement. We just had the newlywed Jake Cronenworth on, and now you're heading down that road. Excited?
Yeah, very excited. We've been dating for a little over 4 years, and it was due. She's been a great addition to our life. We complement each other very well. Raising a dog together has given us an idea of how we're going to handle our kids.
Sure.
But, yeah, it's been great.
Dog's way easier. I'm gonna tell you right now. Way easier. Ask Maddie, right?
Yeah. Especially a dog with severe anxiety. That
exactly.
Leave your side,
Exactly, man. Well, yeah, congratulations on that front. Try not to have too much input on the wedding. Just try not to.
That's what I'm saying. I said, let me handle the DJ. You get whatever else you want.
And I'll just you do this. This is, and then you run it. And we'll all do it together. But
check.
Yeah, I've kind of learned that lesson too. Joe, we wish you the very best. Obviously, thanks so much for coming on. Give your mom our love. She's always been so great to our program. Brought coffee for our Christmas
she told
show.
me she brought some.
She's incredible,
down.
just incredible. My youngest son did pass gas in front of her, which was I'll never forget that moment. Certainly, but man, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. We wish you the very best.
Yeah, I really enjoyed being with you guys. Thank you.
Appreciate
definitely.
it.
Joe Musgrove looking hale and healthy. Hopefully we'll see him back maybe at the end of this year, and if not, then definitely in 2026. Now, speaking of Padres pitchers, we are going to get to meet one of the new guys. Kyle Hart is going to join us coming up in our next hour here. Anything we need to know about Kyle, Joe, before you go? Awesome guy, he says. Okay, well, looking forward to it. He's coming back from Korea, trying to earn a spot in this starting rotation. We'll get to meet one of the newcomers here at the Peoria Sports Complex, and Kyle Hart, the lefty, coming up in our next hour.
See the very handsome Jesse Agler for the first time over here. Look at him. Hi, buddy. How are you?
He's been here for a while now. He's very comfortable. He looks very comfortable. His feet are up.
He's got a little tan going. Well, it's like a burn. He's got a little burn going. Yeah, I call it what it is.
Did they make you broadcast outside the last couple of games? What happened to the booth?
You can borrow my Easy Up, buddy.
And Mike Schilt is also going to join us coming up in our next hour as well.
Good deal.
We'll have more guests at some point. Would love to talk about the Aztecs win last night, but we'll find some time for that.
Relax. All right.
I know. It was a good one. It was a good one.
I know you're fired up.
It was a good one. We'll get to it.
You haven't done it yet.
Didn't introduce him, but we got Frank Marchese back in the studio as well. He'll be with us for the next 3 days. We continue on 1 hour down. What a good first hour. From Peoria, Bennett Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Hello, it is Ben and Woods. We are in Peoria, Arizona, the annual spring training trip. Really one of the highlights of the year for us, and I hope the tier ones as well. Not just because you get the guests, but it really, for us, I think feels like the official start of baseball season. When we're sitting back at our studios, yeah, we know that they've reported to camp and, the games are going on. But once we're out here, Woods, it definitely feels like baseball season is officially on for us again.
No question, man. This is my favorite week of the year. Seeing all the guys and of course talking to those two guys. I adore both of them, man. Crony and Joe. Like you said, man, salt of the earth, kind of heart of the team type guys, man. It's my favorite. I love it. This is where I become a little kid all over again.
I was so fascinated by, the story of Joe, really knowing all year that he was heading toward Tommy John surgery.
It really
one way or
is.
another, it was going to happen. And
It really is.
he was going to
interesting.
squeeze every pitch out of that arm before he had to get the surgery done.
Me too.
Yeah.
I thought it was really, and then just kind of knowing that's coming and having to take the mound, knowing that could happen at any time is it takes a lot of guts. It really does.
All right, let's get our next guest sitting down with us. We're actually meeting him for the first time here, but it is a pleasure to welcome to Ben and Woods and 97.3 The Fan. Padres pitcher Kyle Hart is with us here. Kyle, Stephen Woods, Ben Higgins, Paul Reindl, our producer. It's good to have you on the show, and welcome to, Peoria and soon San Diego, hopefully.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. Picked a good morning to come out and do the show. It's supposed to cool down next week, so probably be freezing our butts off out here.
Yeah, we've been through those out here many, many times. So how good is it? How good has it been so far to be back here in big league baseball and playing with the San Diego Padres?
Yeah, it's something that you don't take for granted. This game will kind of take you everywhere, but anytime that you're joining a big league camp, especially with a chance to make the team, it's a privilege, and especially a team of this caliber. I think that's kind of been the eye opener for me, is just coming back and looking in this locker room at some of these veteran guys, some of the experience that we have, and the talent that we have on this roster. So like I said, it's a privilege and an honor to be here and working my butt off every day to try to make this club.
So, Kyle, you made your big league debut in what year?
2020.
2020. So with the Red Sox during the pandemic season, and you got there. Obviously, that's an achievement of a lifelong dream for anybody who gets there, but didn't stick, and you made the decision a couple of years later to go to Korea. What was the thought process for you in deciding to pitch there rather than stick around in the minors and hoping to get called up again?
That's a good question. The answer, I've talked to a couple of people about this. The answer is relatively simple. Bounced around, kind of the Red Sox gave me a courtesy, finish to my career. Just let me kind of stick in AAA, and bounced around with Philly and up in Tacoma with Seattle. And then following the 2023 season, I didn't have any interest, minor league, MLB, any interest. So the only interest I had was in Korea and the KBO, and didn't really think too much about it. Just kind of checked with my family and make sure we could work out some of the logistics. And once I had their blessing, pretty easy decision for me. Great financial opportunity for guys like me who hadn't made a lot of money up to that point. I'll be very frank about that. I think a lot of guys will be. So obviously it kind of a career altering decision, and something that like I said, I'm really proud of, and I don't think I'm going to take any opportunities for granted, moving forward.
Well, not only did you go over there, and you had to make it's a whole different culture. What's the game like? How different was the game when you got over there? I know at the end of the day, you grab the ball, you got to throw strikes, you got to get guys out. I mean, you can boil it down to, my job is to get these dudes out, but it's a totally different culture, totally different country. You don't speak the language, I would assume, and had to be a little bit of a shock to the system.
It is. I think my experience is similar to a lot of guys. I'm sure if you talk to a guy like Nick Martinez or someone like that, the baseball is high level. It's very serious. I mean, it is very serious. It's very hard to strike people out at times.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have the best stuff in the world, and some of these guys are going to find a way to put the bat on the ball. They might not hit it very hard. And then the other thing is, I feel like my growth happened learning how to manage innings. Those guys do a really good job. If they can get their leadoff on, or if they can work a walk or an HBP or an error, they know how to build an inning up. you're pitching in some really tough environments at times, especially on the road. It can get pretty rowdy, which I think was a big part of my development too. In 2020 there wasn't a single person in the stands,
yeah.
so
That's different.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I don't know if it quite compares to Petco, especially during the playoffs. It probably can't compare, but some of those environments were really fun to pitch in and really a big deal for me. I think that's something that is intriguing to the GMs and the front offices when you're looking at bringing pitchers back over. It's like, can they compete in those environments? And I felt good about what I did. But yeah, baseball is very serious, extremely high level. They're doing all the training methods and everything that we're doing here in America is starting to come over there. So you're going to see, as we've seen, you're going to see more and more Asian-born national players coming over here. They're getting extremely talented. So
We're talking to new Padres pitcher Kyle Hart. He just said it's tough to strike out guys in Korea. We're talking to the single-season KBO strikeout record holder. Struck out 182 batters, so essentially the Randy Johnson of Korea.
That's pretty good, man.
Over there, which is obviously had a great season. You won the Choi Dong-won Award. That's like their Cy Young Award. What I heard you talk about, you added a couple of pitches. What is changed? When you went over there. Now that you're here, are you doing anything else? We think of Ruben Niebla as a bit of a kind of a miracle worker. When we see him, we just kind of bow down because he's such a great guy and knows so much about pitching. So what's that kind of translating to here?
Yeah, I think Ruben is fantastic. As soon as I started talking to him, even throughout kind of the free agent process, I realized this guy is going to be really good for me, as he has been for many guys. I think at this point, Ruben has really pushed for me to just kind of be myself. I think he wants to get a baseline on what I'm able to do and see a few more outings, and then we're going to probably dive into some of the red tape, so to speak. I'm kind of probably annoying him because I'm bugging him like, hey, what do you got for me? What do you want me to work on all this? And I think he's just like, dude, do your thing.
That sounds like that's a pretty good Ruben you just did, actually.
Like, do your thing. We'll get there. So, I'm just kind of falling into place. Obviously, extremely talented pitching staff that we have. I'm competing with some great guys trying to make this club, and I'm looking forward to what Ruben and Peter and Chris and Fritzy, a lot of these guys have for me going forward. It's like I'm just craving all the knowledge that they have. It's a fine line of doing what you did, doing what you do that got you here, but also trying to develop and improve every day.
No question. And, you're talking about some of the other guys on staff. You've got Darvish, who's got 11 pitches, probably the ability to throw 14 or so. You got Michael King, who is just one of the nastiest. When things are firing for Michael King, he's top 3 in baseball, maybe even top 1 in baseball when it's all working for him. You've got Joe Musgrove there as a guy that you can lean on as well. You got really good players. Have you been able to glean any knowledge from those guys?
Well, yeah, I want.
Well, you're the only lefty though. That's the other thing. Is like there's very few lefties in there to talk to.
Well, I'm gonna add Dylan Cease into
of course, Dylan Cease pretty good.
He's decent. So I actually went back and watched Dylan Cease's no hitter last night. Just 7th inning. Let me just finish this guy with 100 down and away. I didn't realize the plays that Xander made in that game. Those were awesome.
Incredible.
The tipped ball.
Jackson.
Oh my God.
I did not see that before. So to answer your question, I think I've said this before, like Schulte, Ruben, they're going to take the best pitchers that can help the Padres win games. So if it's 13 righties, obviously there's going to be some lefties out of that bullpen, but he's going to take the best guys. So I don't think, just being left-handed is going to grant me extra leeway. I'm going to have to pitch really well in the next month. That's my goal. Obviously, just watching, Stephen Kolek yesterday, he looked outstanding. Randy was in charge of all his stuff. Love watching Johnny Brito. Love watching Matt Waldron, obviously. So, it's not going to be handed to me. There's some guys that have had some success and look really good right now. So, but yeah, Darvish, I would argue he throws 12 pitches, but I pretty much watch everything that guy does.
Sure.
Are you a natural lefty, or are you one of those guys who was kind of could have gone either way and coached into being a lefty?
I'm not a natural lefty. I eat and write.
You're holding your mic with the right hand.
Yeah,
so I was wondering.
Exactly. So I'm a mixed bag.
That's interesting. I read a quote from you. You were talking about your debut, your first year, and you basically said it can't end like this for me. If that's the case, I'm just going to dig an effing hole and crawl into it. And I said, that's my guy. That's my guy right now. I saw some video of you chirping in the KBO, and I said, I love this guy, and I really hope you make the squad and come out and help us dominate next year because it's been so far so good. So what's the plan for you moving forward? Getting some starts and getting some innings. What's the plan?
Yeah, I threw a sim game yesterday. Kind of kicked the rust off. I was spraying the ball a little bit, but everything was kind of where I expected to be from the pitching standpoint. I think Ruben has me throwing at least one more sim game on Sunday, and then I'm hoping next week to get into a game. Yeah. So it's that time. It's that time.
The sim game is a little bit different. Crony was talking about being on the backfields, firm, hard BP, but he said it's different. Once you're out there in game situation, throwing to real hitters with different uniforms on.
Yeah, I think there's probably that extra 5, maybe 10% of competitive juices, so to speak, that we get when we start seeing other guys. And the veterans will probably tell you that it can't even happen for them until March 27th comes. But yeah, 11 a.m. backfield games can be difficult, but at the same time, the work, the preparation, it's so critical for us moving forward this year, especially as pitchers. Like, we have to take every chance, every opportunity we get on that mound as serious as we can. Sure. Because, there's only so many days to work. We can't show up in the cage at 7 a.m. and take 500 swings, So, yeah, I'm looking forward to getting out there, getting into a game, and letting the real work kind of begin.
Crony said he faced you guys. You were at Indiana. He was at Michigan. He didn't really remember the matchup, but he said you guys are really good, and they weren't. So
it's Schwarber on your squad. My God.
Yeah, we were more of an offensive team. Like, our pitching staff, our mantra was like, just let's give up like anything less than 7 runs, and we got a chance.
How good was Schwarber in college with a metal bat?
There's a couple quick things. He was amazing. But he was a great catcher. Could call an unbelievable game. I'm sure he could still call a great game. He was really fast. Wow. Nobody understands that. He blew out his knee at the Diamondbacks. I don't remember what year. He blew out everything in his knee, but he was like a 6'8" runner. Led the conference in triples one year. Like, he was fast.
Jeez, dude.
How come he didn't play football?
No, he did.
He did.
Yeah.
Well, he had offers all over the place.
I would think so. Yeah.
God bless.
Well, man. Kyle, it is a pleasure to meet you again. Welcome to the Padres. Thanks for sitting down with us for a few minutes, and we'll be watching you closely the rest of spring training. Not in a creepy way.
No,
kind of in a creepy way.
Well, maybe a little bit.
I appreciate it. You guys have a great day.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Kyle Hart, new Padres pitcher, and again, gonna be on the backfields in the next couple of days, and we'll probably see him in a Cactus League game coming up pretty soon. All right, we're going to take a timeout. When we come back, you just showed me who was going to come on, and then I forgot. Tyler Wade, that's right. Tyler Wade.
First time ever.
We've never had him on?
We never had him on.
Talked to him, I feel like a million times off the air.
I've only talked to him once off the air.
Well, I've talked to him a couple times, but it'll be great to have Tyler Wade on. He's like everybody's favorite Padre somehow.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Literally, everybody in that clubhouse loves Tyler Wade. We're going to talk to him when we come back after a check of traffic here at Bennett Woods on 97.3 The Fan. First couple hours here at
Jamming.
spring training, and we have already gotten a great mix of guests.
Yep.
We talked to Jay Cronenworth, Joe Musgrove, Kyle Hart just sat down with us,
was great.
and now joining us here on the back patio at the Peoria Sports Complex is Tyler Wade.
First time ever.
I would say Padres infielder, Padres outfielder, Padres everything player. Joins us here on 97.3 The Fan. Tyler, it's good to have you on the flagship station. Good morning.
Good morning. Good to have you guys. Thank you.
It's good to finally meet you. I met you a little bit at fantasy camp, and we were just talking off the air about how you were out here early. You're out here with the elite athletes that you saw out here at fantasy camp.
Oh yeah,
guys in the best shape of their lives.
I learned a thing or two.
You learned what not to turn into, I think. But you definitely see everybody was out here just eating it all up. But it was great to see you and Jackson were here. And like I said, we made a big deal about it because that's cool. We wanted. I think every fan is like, I want my guys there working and grinding.
Yeah, no doubt.
And you guys were absolutely here doing that. Do you go insane in the off season? You need to get back here?
Yeah, kind of like what we were saying off air, man. Like I think once like January rolls around and you start getting that itch a little bit, and you start talking to the guys, getting group chats, like start FaceTiming each other, and that's when things start to get rolling. And then obviously like Jackson and I living out here, I was like, yo, let's just go to the complex, get some work in, and then slowly but surely guys start trickling in, and then just get things rolling.
Get to the complex, see some real good-looking swings, some real heat in the bullpen from the fantasy campers. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing when we're here and then these guys show up.
That's why I don't play.
I don't think that's embarrassing
It's
at all.
embarrassing.
I don't think so at all, man.
You guys were doing speed drills while we were stretching, and I wanted to hide. I'm like, look how fast and lithe and
oh, come on,
built these dudes are, man. It's embarrassing.
Don't let us trick you.
All right, that's fair enough, man. So good to be back with the Padres. I know everyone's excited to have you back. This off season for you, obviously, the way that the last season ended was tough. We were talking to Joe about it. Said he just gotten surgery that day, and he's watching that game 5. He goes, "This is the worst day ever for you guys." How long did it take you to kind of move past?
Man, that's a good question. Maybe a month, man. It was even tough to watch the playoffs, man.
Sure.
Yeah, that shit hurt, man. Just because we believed in ourselves and we thought we were the best team and we had a really good squad, man. But we use that as motivation. I think that's why, like what you were talking about, like guys coming in early and we're hungry, So we're kind of using that fuel for 2025.
Tyler, I want to go back and talk about your road to the big leagues.
Yeah,
how you got here. You grew up Murrieta, Ricky Fowler country, as I like to call that.
Yeah.
And you were actually one of the last recruiting classes for Tony Gwynn at San Diego State, correct? But you decided to go the pro route, and when you're drafted, you signed with the Yankees. How tough of a decision was that, and the process of being recruited by Tony at San Diego State?
Yeah, that was kind of surreal for me, growing up. I was a Yankee fan, but going to Padre games and obviously knowing who Tony was. And I think it was my sophomore year, going into my sophomore year, San Diego State reached out and then like, yeah, come out for your unofficial visit. And Tony's talking to me. I'm like, I can't believe I'm talking to Tony Gwynn. He's like, you want to come here? And I was like, look at my parents. I was like, I can't say no to Tony Gwynn.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that process for me as a 15, 16-year-old kid was pretty special. And then once kind of my senior year rolled around, I didn't think I ever in my back of my mind was ever going to get drafted. Right. And then, scouts started coming around, and then I was like, if the opportunity presents itself, I hate saying this, but I was going to school to play baseball. You know what I mean? I'm sorry to say it, but that's what I was doing, right? Like
your career in neuroscience was on hold. So.
Yeah, that was on. Yeah, being an anesthesiologist because that was on hold. Yeah. But I told my parents, I was like, this is anything I've ever dreamed of, and if the opportunity is there and it feels right, let's do it. And then
it's the Yankees too. I mean, the Yankees draft you.
Fourth round,
it's crazy. Yeah, and I couldn't say no. I couldn't say no, man. And got out as planned, man, and it worked out for the best.
And then you were with the Yankees for a while. They traded you to the Angels,
and then traded right back.
And then you got traded right back. What was the story there? You were there for like half a season, and they traded you right back to the Yankees.
I wish I knew the full story.
It's a weird business.
Yeah, dude, it was funny. I don't think I've ever told this story, but I was on a bachelor trip. And I woke up to Cashman calling me at like 7 a.m. I'm like,
I'm dead.
Yeah. I was like, I'm dead. I was dead. And then I was like, I'm even more dead.
What did he know? What did he see from last
night? But then he's like, hey, man, we're trading you to Anaheim, yada, yada, yada. And I was kind of shocked because I was like, I didn't expect that.
Sure.
And then I was like, oh, cool. I'm going to California. Yeah. Cool. Right. And then, it was all right. And then July comes around, and they're like, I'm in the dugout, and they're like, hey, you're getting traded back to the Yankees. I said, that's funny, huh? And they're like, no, you got to go. And I was like,
No way.
This is real. And then literally same thing. I'm walking in the clubhouse, and my phone's ringing. It's Cash. And I'm like, oh, wow. Okay, cool. But yeah, man, I mean, I love that organization, man. I was there for 9 years, almost 10 years, and that's family to me. I still got some of my best friends over there.
Sure.
And they took a chance on me, man. Like as a young kid, and I was like 150 pounds out of high school, man. I don't know what they saw, but I appreciate Cash and Hal and all those guys, man. So yeah, they're good people.
That's awesome. We're joined by Tyler Wade here. Now you're with the San Diego Padres, and you've ingratiated yourself to this organization as well. You do a lot of things for the team. It takes a special kind of player. Baseball is full. You have to have an ego to play this game. You cannot play this game without thinking you're the best.
Yeah.
And for you, where Schulte may come to you one day and say, hey, I mean, you may not play for a week.
Yeah.
How hard is that? And what's it like for you being the guy that can play anywhere and sometimes has to?
Well, first off, like Schulte to me, I what you guys saw last year was a byproduct of Schulte, one, instilling confidence in me and just letting me play free, right? I said this the other day. I don't know who I said it to, but everyone's like, oh, when you're in AAA, you rake, man. Like, they're like, why? I was like, because I play free, man. Like, I don't feel like I need to be anybody else,
You feel different in the bigs? Like you need to be somebody different?
Yeah. Prior teams, like New York, Anaheim, they wanted me to be somebody I wasn't. And I come here and Shirley's like, be Tyler Wade. Like, that person's plenty good enough. And
that's awesome.
The moment he said that to me, man, it just clicked. I was like, perfect. I can just be me. I don't need to do anything else, man. And just the communication aspect of what he does and the leadership values that he brings to this team, it makes me feel at home, man. And I've said to people, I've been here for a year now, and this place feels like home, and it feels like family to me, man. Like, it feels like I've been here for 8 years, which is crazy.
We're talking to Tyler Wade. So with that in mind, Woods is the people person of the two of us. He's gregarious. He's outgoing. I'm more of the introvert. You have you're a people person in there. I've seen you interacting with your teammates. What is it, do you think? I mean, did you do that? Is that conscious? Is that just who you kind of are? But
we're human beings. That we're just human beings.
But I mean,
we care about other people.
The other big leaguers, they gravitate toward him in that clubhouse. I saw it even after that Game 5. I was in that Dodger clubhouse, and as sad as it was, they were kind of gravitating toward him, and I was just I was fascinated by that. And just, is that something that you cultivate, or is just natural?
That's just me being me, man. It's organic, and Shilty's head's getting big if he listens to this, but it's a byproduct of him, man. Like, I'm able just to be me. I feel like I can be myself. I've always been that way, right? Other clubhouses, I've had to suppress that, and I think that doesn't allow me to be myself on the field as well, But even Manny, Toddy, Jake, the leaders, Joe in this clubhouse, from day one last year, they made me feel like I was at home and I was able to be myself. And I do think I'm a leader, but I don't think I'm a vocal guy. I just go about my business, and it's like what you said, man. I'm just able to be myself unapologetically, and it's been great, man. And it's good to be around these guys. And
speaking of the devil, look who's here.
But yeah, exactly. What's up, baby?
Morning, how you doing, buddy?
See you.
But yeah, man, it's special, like having guys like him, man. It's being able to learn from him, and just letting me be myself. You know what I mean? I think it takes a lot of weight off his shoulders, and whoever else is.
Yeah, no doubt. Tyler Wade joins us this morning. So, all right. So, where if you could pencil yourself in the lineup every day, where do you want to play? What's your favorite? Because I've seen you play 4 or 5 positions already with the team.
It's a loaded question.
It's very loaded.
That's a loaded.
It's very loaded.
Brother.
That's what I do. You can say it.
Anywhere.
Oh man, that's the political answer.
I grew up playing short. Okay, so I'll give you that.
All right. Well, I mean, yeah, my 7-year-old wants fly balls now in the outfield because of Jackson Merrill, and Jackson told him stay in the infield. So
the guy said it way too hard. Go to the outfield. But man, yeah, anywhere, man. Like, I've been doing it for so long now, and it's all second nature to me, man.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I love
anywhere, really.
Even left field?
Anywhere. I don't know what year. You got to fact check me on this, but I think 2019 or 21, I played more games in the outfield than I did in the infield. So
that's crazy.
It just depends, man. Like, it's just I know. I think the biggest thing for me to embrace is I realized who I was as a player and what I bring to a team. So it's just like, could really care less where I'm at, man.
Yeah,
like,
just as long as you're in there, right? You
just
want to be in there.
Whether it's the 7th inning or 1st inning.
Yeah.
I can care less, man.
That's
like,
awesome.
That's what I love.
Tyler, it's great to sit down with you. Thank you for spending some time and showing me at least how to interact with human
humans,
beings.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
Hey, I'm
exactly right.
introverted, man. Believe it or not, man. Like when I'm at home, I don't talk. I just chill.
I
Good.
doubt it very much.
Good.
Very much.
Tyler
Thanks,
Wade,
Tyler.
we're going to take a quick timeout. Mike Schultz, the guy
Thanks,
who you were
guys.
just talking about, is
Oh,
actually going to join us.
put in a
He
good
makes
word.
us a little nervous.
He
I'm beginning
does.
to be-
He makes me nervous.
He's
too.
Okay,
intense,
so
yeah.
We love him, though. We love him.
we
Thanks.
love him, but yeah, he makes us a little nervous. But he's going to sit down with us in our next segment, so you don't want to miss that. More Ben and Woods on the way on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3. After having difficulty hiring, Robert Half is there to help. They're recruiting professionals utilizing award-winning AI to conduct business with highly skilled talent. At Robert Half, they know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today. We've been off to a rip-roaring start here at Padres spring training in Peoria. I haven't even had a chance to mention, though, what's going on back in San Diego. They're getting ready for the first SDFC game at home on Saturday, and we're actually going to have some tickets to give away to the home opener at Snapdragon Stadium on Saturday, coming up later in the program after the win over LA Galaxy. I know a lot of people are excited and making plans to go down for the game on Saturday night, so you have a chance to win some tickets from us coming up later in the show. And I believe on all the shows today, have tickets to give away. Yes, Paulie confirms that. So be listening all day for your chance to win. Andres Dreyer was named the essentially player of the week in MLS, the man of the match day, they called it.
I like that.
First ever game, franchise history, and you're already 1 for 1 on players of the week.
Man of the match sounds way better than player of the week.
Man of the match day, yeah, for his 2 goals in the win over LA Galaxy.
I'd say it's a pretty good start to his career.
And, of course, huge win last night for the San Diego State Aztecs at home over New Mexico. Obviously, I was watching here. You were almost watching. You just needed to stay up another 2 hours. Yeah. So you could have gotten to tip-off. But Villas Arena sounded pretty electric last night. I mean, you could even tell through the television that the Aztecs fans, the show, really came to play. And I talked about that yesterday. They're going to need it. With Magoon out, the home court advantage probably more important in that game last night than any game they've played all season. And I thought the fans made a real difference. It was such a good performance. You know, when you have a star out, you need a balanced scoring attack, and they really did. They got contributions from Nick Boyd, Miles Bird, Miles Heide, Jared Coleman-Jones, Farrell Compton off the bench. It was really balanced. They had different options the whole game long, and New Mexico's a really good team, and Donovan Dent's definitely, in my mind, the best player in that conference. But Dutch and his coaching staff came up with a phenomenal game plan last night, Woods. They knew Donovan Dent. They said, all right, we're going to accept some damage. And he scored 26 points. He's really, really good.
Let him get his.
Yeah, they pretty much, put B.J. Davis on him for the most part. They tried to switch their screens, but they knew he was going to get some. They made sure, though, that the big guy, Nelly Jr. Joseph, didn't get his. They fronted him. They used Jared Coleman-Jones and Miles Heide on him, and they kept him to 6 points. The guy's a double-double machine. Had like 16 or 17 rebounds anyway, but kept him really out of the score sheet for most of the game. And I thought that was the difference that allowed San Diego State to get that huge, much-needed win that really keeps them on the right side of the bubble, maybe even pushes them into slightly safer territory for the NCAA tournament, depending on what happens in their last 3 regular season games.
Who are those opponents again?
They've got at Wyoming, not a good team, but it's 7,000 feet of altitude on Saturday. Right. Then they've got the at UNLV game, the team that beat them at Villas Arena. I like that aspect of the revenge game for the Aztecs against UNLV. And then home against Nevada, a team they handled pretty well on the road earlier this season. If they win all 3 of those,
they're in.
I think that they should be comfortably in the NCAA tournament no matter what happens in the Mountain West tournament.
Massive step forward.
That's why. If they had lost that one, the path to the NCAA tournament was really dicey and probably involved winning the Mountain West tournament. Now there's a number of paths available that get San Diego State into March Madness. Hopefully, when Magoon Guat's going to be able to return. But I think the Aztecs will even be better for this time now without him. When he comes back, they'll have more ways to beat teams, just based on this time that they're playing without their big guy.
Well, I crashed pretty hard last night, and I woke up, and the first tweet I saw before I went to ESPN to check the score was yours, saying something to the effect of, well, Woods has been asleep for about 4 hours. Maybe I should get some rest now. And I knew by the tone, before I checked the score, I knew by the tone, Aztecs won.
Yeah, I was a little wired from the exciting win. I mean, it was in doubt until the last couple of minutes, so I was nervous pretty much watching the whole way through. But
what time did you go to sleep? Midnight?
I think I looked. Last time I saw my clock was about 11:50.
You're a cyborg. God. How's your room?
No, that's 10:50 Pacific.
Yeah,
it's a little bare bones.
Mine is too.
Mine's more of a converted. I will say this: we've had some horror stories on vacation rentals and hotels here in Arizona for our various excursions out here. No horror stories.
This is
on
the nicest
one.
house we've
It's
stayed
yeah.
at.
It's pretty nice.
Yeah, actually, the
Thank
hardest
you, Adam.
the hardest part for me is that the backyard is right. It's right on a golf course on a lake. There's
Yeah.
a water hazard,
It's
and then the
killing
green.
you.
And all I want to do is pull out my clubs and start like hitting shots. I'm about a 9-iron from the green. I could practice if I wanted.
Yeah, it's pretty good. There's a thing that happens at Airbnbs though now that we've noticed the last few is they all have the remote control for the lights
Yes.
and the fan.
It's like a smart
It's like a
light
smart
fan
remote,
combo.
but you can't just. I woke up this
They don't
morning.
work.
I woke up this morning. I went to just turn the light on, but I couldn't because you have to have the remote. But I couldn't find the remote because it was pitch black. And instead of just being able to click the light on, you have to find this remote, hit the right button at the same time.
the right switch
The
has
right
to be
switch
on
has to be
for
on.
the room to
Yes.
like trigger it. It's
I don't really know the ins and outs of it, but no, it's a nice place. And I had a lot of people asking yesterday. We always do, Ben and Wood's cribs.
it's coming.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming. But you can't rush greatness, And yesterday after that trip, we needed a little bit of a breather.
I don't have a TV in my room. So
I don't either.
I watched on my phone.
Did you see the picture I tweeted of my room? It looks
Yeah.
like a meth den. I mean, it literally is just bare bones white walls and a mirrored.
It's funny. Yeah, it's not overly decorated, but like every single vacation rental we've ever stayed at, they have that little wooden block tic-tac-toe board.
Everywhere.
And, I don't know. Does that come with when you like sign up for vacation rentals that they send you?
It's
a little
Airbnb shop.
Tic-tac-toe.
It's a store. You buy stuff for your Airbnb, and there's the in cursive.
So families are
It
going to
says-
sit around playing tic-tac-toe all night?
It says home on it. Every single one has it's white with black lettering, and it says home on it. And it's been every Airbnb in my experience that I've ever stayed in. They all have the tic-tac-toe. But no, it's actually a really, really nice place. It's really good.
Yeah.
And I think we'll bust a live stream out while we're here. Gonna have some fun. But what a great morning so far. What a great morning.
Our next scheduled guest, and we'll be out momentarily, is expected to be the skipper, Mike Schilt, manager of the San Diego Padres. So I know he's a busy man, but he's carved out about 10 minutes for us here before the top of the hour to chat and check in. Now, he's been here for a few weeks now.
Oh, yeah.
It's probably his third week here at spring training. And I always feel like we're just kind of now coming in the middle of everybody's work.
Yeah, I feel the same way too.
Yeah.
It's a lot of Chipotle in 3 weeks, man.
That's a good point.
That's a lot of Chipotle. Do you think when he walks in, they have his standard order ready?
Ooh. No, I think he probably
You think he mixes it up?
No, I think he orders the same thing, but he likes to go through the line.
Through the line, okay.
Yeah, just
They don't just have it ready
specific,
for him?
and can I get a little more of the
green
the
sauce.
chicken?
Yeah, more chicken. All right, fair
Something
enough.
like
What time is
that,
he supposed
so.
to be out?
Any minute,
Any second now. So we're vamping.
Yeah, exactly. We're at the point of. I could start talking more basketball. I watched the Lakers game last night.
I was waiting.
Well.
I was just going to give you the go ahead.
I was worried to get started if Mike Schilt walked out, but
Paulie and I this morning.
You didn't even remember.
We had talked about it when Luka got traded. We're like, oh well, look at the calendar here in a couple of weeks. Going to be taking on the Mavs, and I was like, that's must see TV. But there was no way I was watching anything last night.
Yeah, he had a really strong game against his former team. Triple double, 19 points, 15 rebounds, 12 assists. It was not a blowout, though. It looked like it might be early, but the Mavs, hung in there with Anthony Davis. It's so weird just seeing him sitting on the bench, wearing his fur coat and not on the Lakers anymore.
That was a Lakers home game?
It was a Lakers home game. The fans, this is almost kind of mean. Luka got fouled, was at the free throw line. They started chanting, "Thank you, Nico,"
because Nico was there.
To the Dallas Mavericks general manager, which that kind of felt great, knowing the other team is thanking you for making what most people in basketball think was an insane trade.
Yeah, maybe the worst trade of all time.
But the Mavs still look decent. Kyrie scored 35 points.
Wow.
LeBron had 27 and 12. Lakers have been hot lately, though. They get another win, 107-99 last night. And they've kind of solidified themselves in the upper now half of the playoff picture in the Western Conference. And a lot of people are now thinking could be championship contenders. I don't know if it's going to come together that quickly for LeBron and Luka. They seem like they're already kind of on the same page, but they may be missing a piece or two ultimately. But they beat Denver over the weekend.
It's probably the talk of everybody over at Camelback Ranch where the Dodgers are, Ben, to be honest with you.
That's probably
They're
true
probably
as well,
very
which is where the
excited.
Padres are headed later today.
Yep.
Because they're going to be playing the White Sox at that same facility in their spring training game this afternoon. So All right, let's check traffic. We'll get you an update on Mike Schilt, or maybe
They
you
are
just got
still in
one.
the coaches meeting right
Oh,
now.
they're still in the
so
coaches
we're
meeting. All right,
working
well,
on it.
then we're probably going to have to push it back, but we'll give you an update after traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic sponsored by Crystal Geyser, Alpine Spring. Collision on northbound 805 near the 54 got the left lane blocked. Another crash reported up ahead near Adams Avenue. Not showing if any lanes are blocked. We're also getting reports of a stalled vehicle on the Bayer Boulevard on-ramp to westbound 905. A couple things going on in the North County. Crash involving several vehicles, including a motorcycle, southbound 15 before the 78. They're all in the center divide. Tow truck is on scene assisting with that. And they got this stalled bid rig pushed over the right shoulder, south 15 near Mercy Road. Still going to find large tow truck trying to retrieve a semi that went off the roadway south by coastline just past Las Pulgas. That's over to the right shoulder. What makes Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water different? They always bottle their Alpine Spring Water less than 1.5 miles from the spring source. And all their bottles are made with 50% recycled plastic from their own recycling plants. Crystal Geyser, bottled at the spring source. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Yesterday, the Padres played here in Peoria. We arrived, I think, about 20, 30 minutes after the game ended, actually. I saw the fans were leaving the parking lot when I got here to pick up our credentials. They faced the Angels and ended up losing the game 2-1. So pitching was definitely the star of the show yesterday, including solid 2 innings from Stephen Kolek, who is competing for a spot in the starting rotation as one of those many options for the 5th starter's job. But I think what was impressive yesterday was just the strike throwing. He had 25 pitches in 2 innings, gave up a couple of hits, but 20 of them were strikes. So he was filling up the zone.
Fill it up,
as they like to say.
Yep.
And, I think we probably haven't given him enough, perhaps, attention as a legitimate candidate for that 5th spot. But I do think the Padres are looking at him for that role.
And there's that kind of mark on a guy, Ben, that's a Rule 5 guy, right? Like there's just kind of that. And it's unfair. I think I know a lot of fans do it, and I know I've done it before too. Is like, oh boy, the Rule 5 guy, but he's not a Rule 5 guy anymore, right? Like he's San Diego Padre, and he's vying for a spot in the rotation. Or, again, this is a numbers game at spring training. The more guys that you can find that can take the mound and get outs at the big league level, the better off your team is going to be. Whether he slots into the 5, whether he is a long relief type guy, whether they have an entirely different role for him in mind down the road. He throws strikes, got some whiffs yesterday, was seeing some notes on Twitter, and our buddy Clark sent me some notes too about, he has kind of ditched the slider, gone back to the sweeper where he's had some success with it. So it's good to see, man. You want to keep stacking appearances like that from a guy like Kolek.
Yeah, last year you could fairly say he's only on the team because he's a Rule 5.
Correct.
They would lose him if they tried to put him in AAA, so he has to be there. Doesn't necessarily feel like you earn your spot. This year, they can option him. They have those
100%.
rights again, so he has to earn that spot, but he's looking like someone who could earn a spot on the roster. And now remember, the reason that A.J. Preller plucked him from the Mariners in the Rule 5 draft is he thought he had some talent. Like
Correct.
He was so convinced that this was a guy that could help the Padres that he was willing to basically tie up one of his valuable 26 roster spots last year on Stephen Kolek. Think how highly AJ must think of a player to make that commitment for a whole season,
no doubt,
on a roster spot for a guy that he knows is not going to be at his, probably not ready to contribute that year. That's how highly he thought of Stephen Kolek.
And again, this isn't the mid-2010s Padres, right? Like last year, you were going into last season expecting to compete and expecting to make the playoffs. And of course, they certainly did. But, yeah, I mean, using up a spot like that for a guy, there's clearly something that AJ sees in him, clearly something that Ruben likes about him as well. And, yeah, had a good outing yesterday. I think that the guy we have to talk about, though, and it's a guy that we're going to be talking about for hopefully many years to come, Ben, and that's Leo. Leo Dallas DeVries yesterday just continues to show why he's going to be one of the best prospects in baseball at the end of the year. There's just no question about it. 0-2 in his AB, battles it back to 3-2, then hits 96 on the outside corner, hits it the other way, 384 feet for a double. Bat speed is through the roof. He's the real deal. He is the real deal.
You shouldn't be able to do that when you're barely 18 years
It's
old.
just insane. So I am so excited to watch him this week. Check him out on the backfields or wherever he may be playing. It's pretty special.
Also, the Padres got scoreless innings from Adrian Morejon, Yuki Matsui, and Omar Cruz, who's opened a lot of eyes as well this camp. He's got a really good changeup that people have been really raving about here in Peoria from Omar Cruz, who's one of the pitching prospects that's here. And it's changed kind of the discussion. If you talk to people in the organization, they actually feel the pitching depth is now pretty strong.
Correct.
For the Padres. We were wondering, like, wow, they have no depth. 3 weeks ago, we were going, this pitching staff has no depth at all. What are they going to do? Now you look at it, and it's actually being viewed as potentially a strength in this organization. If they needed to go 10, 11, 12 starters deep at some, as most teams do.
Yeah.
Padres only used 8 last year. That's a rarity.
That's very
Most teams
rare.
need to get up to 10, 11, 12 over the course. So maybe a couple of them only make 1 or 2 spot starts. But the Padres now seem to have that between Randy Vasquez, Matt Waldron, Johnny Brito, Kyle Hart, who we talked to earlier today, some of the young guys like Omar Cruz, Stephen Kolek. These guys are all, potential options. They may not make 30 starts, but, a bunch of them may make 5, 7, that could help them at some point over the course of this season.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, it's great. Like I said, man, you got to stack as many of these guys as you can to help you get outs when you need it throughout the course of a season, because you just never know what's going to happen, man. If guys are going to go down or if a guy's ineffective, there needs to be someone there that's able to jump in and get outs at that level. So I think everybody's really high on it. We'll ask Schulte when he joins us here pretty soon, kind of how he feels about the state of the pitching staff.
Yeah, offensively, obviously didn't do much. You mentioned DeVries. He scored the only run. Outside of that, Manny had another double, I think, but there wasn't a ton of offense in the game yesterday.
Well, let's go. Oh, do we have to?
What do you want to do
this?
here? We're right at the top of the hour, so we're going to figure this out.
I was just texting our PR friends.
Yeah.
Let's just
How we
we'll
doing,
roll
buddy?
with it right now.
All right, we're going to roll with it. All right, so yeah.
What do you want?
Yeah.
We do lunch.
Yeah. You would be surprised at how much consternation the three of us go through going, should we take him to dinner again? I mean, we had fun, we enjoyed it, but we don't want to impose on him. I mean, he's a busy guy. We probably spent like 3 hours talking about whether we should do dinner again with Mike Schulte or not. I mean, you just walk right up and
he's like, "What happened?" All right, put him on. This is Mike on. All right,
you're good
on.
to
You're
go.
on
All right,
live.
you're just on live. We're going live.
We're
Yeah,
we're live
let's just
now.
do this
Here
right
we
now.
are.
You're here. Why not?
Beautiful Peoria.
Why not sit down? We've already gotten to talk to some of your players. You have such a good group here. We met Kyle Hart for the first time. Met Tyler Wade finally on the show. He's fantastic. He raved about you a lot. Felt like you allow him to be Tyler Wade in that clubhouse. And I see how those guys gravitate toward him. He's not a star player. He's a kind of a glue guy, but everyone seems to go right around Tyler Wade. And he said, I couldn't do that with the Yankees. I kind of felt like I couldn't be myself. But he said, Schulte, he lets me be myself in that clubhouse.
Yeah, the thing about it is, Wadey's a phenomenal guy, to your point, to start. I mean, we just talked in a little bit of we did a review of our camp to this point for our big league staff, and everybody feels like it's going really well. But one of the things that stands out and that our staff's very grateful for is just how good of human beings that we have in our clubhouse. We have some really, really good dudes, that really appreciate each other, love each other, respect each other, but are also very intentional about playing well, and they're very dedicated to greatness. And so, the point about the identity piece, the one thing from my chair is how miserable is it if you can't be yourself?
It's not great.
It's not.
It's not great. I've done that. I've had a part of my career where I was like that, and it was actually when we started, and I didn't know anything about doing sports radio, so I tried to be Ben. And once I decided that I can't be Ben and I just need to be me, it kind of all opened up. And I think I really connected with Tyler when he talked about that, because you have to be able to do you. But what is life if you can't be yourself?
It really is, and the whole comfortable in your own skin.
Yeah.
I've been in a lot of those situations, and some of it, or a good portion of it, I put on myself.
Yep.
To try to be somebody that the world's trying me to be, or I think somebody should be. And there's some conformity that needs to take place when you're on a team,
Right.
in a team setting. But ultimately, we talk a lot about be yourself in a team setting, and don't try to conform to somebody or who you're not. And it's very freeing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. We're joined by the skipper, Mike Schilt, here on Ben and Woods. And, with every camp, there are new challenges. You had a little bit of a flu bug going around in this one, and
We have.
you got to, keep guys away. How's everybody feeling, first of all? I saw Fernando walk in, and I saw Campy walk in. And I know they've been hit pretty hard by it, but I at least saw them here. And are they feeling better? What's the plan for those guys?
It is, knock on wood, the first day. Now I can walk out. I love our training staff.
Yeah.
I do. They're fantastic.
You don't want to see him coming, though.
I do not want to see him coming. When you're sitting at your office or you're on the field and you see a trainer walk towards you, you go, "Oh man,
This ain't good."
So, anyway, I reserve the right for that to happen here shortly, but it will be the first day in over 10 days where I feel like we're going to have all the camp here that is not related to any flu or any sickness, but looks like it's getting behind us, knock on wood. And, here we go.
So we were just talking before you sat down how sometimes, well, all the time, outside perception, we don't really know what's going on all the way through the organization. About 3 weeks ago, we were talking about, wow, where's the pitching depth on this team going to come from? I mean, where they have enough starters to even start the season. Now, I look at camp, and I've seen a lot of arms here, a lot of arms, not just competing for that fifth starter's job, but, depth throughout the season. What have you seen kind of from some of the guys who've been in the Cactus League games that are battling for that fifth spot, but probably you're going to need 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, maybe more to make starts throughout the year?
Yeah. Starting point relative to the pitching concern, it's interesting because I can understand it peripherally. What I'm about to say may shock people. I think about the roster, like how to use the roster. But with AJ as our general manager, I don't think about, we would like to have X or Y. But I know he's always got a plan for what X and Y looks like for the parameters he has for the club. Now, specific to the depth, I've been really, really pleased with having the opportunity to see some young pitchers that I haven't seen yet. You hear about them, you read about them in reports. But when it comes to life, no particular order, and I'm likely going to leave somebody out. But Bradley Rodriguez, whoa. Wow. I mean, yesterday that was elite stuff, with quality strikes, because those two need to be married to those strikes and stuff. You look at Pena throwing the ball extremely well. Net has come in, big arm, multiple pitches. Exciting guy has weapons for righties and lefties. It looks like he could stay in a starting role and still develop and see where it takes him. So that's all been very positive. This Nunez kid, Eduardo Nunez, that free agent sign that we picked up, is a nice arm. He's the first free agent that was signed in all of the off season, and understandably, he's throwing 9,800 with life. A little more seasoning, but the arm's there. And then you look at the more recent signings. Obviously, Pavetta. We're looking forward to seeing Nick in competition, but he's fitting in really well with the group. Kyle Hart done a nice job coming in, and again, that guy that's dominated last year in the KBO and had some depth. And Wes Ferguson, we just added a lefty that we'll see what Wes brings to the table. But and of course the guys we have, the Waldron and Brito and Vasquez and that group.
Before you ask your next question, I got to do some radio business here. We got to pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening to the Ben and Woods live from Padres spring training.
I wanted to ask you about competition.
You didn't pause. You got to pause.
Oh, I got to pause?
Yeah, for 10 seconds.
KWFN and KWFN HD1 San Diego.
Tony Gwynn Jr. here. Don't worry about missing Padres news. We'll update you on the latest on your way home. Gwynn and Chris, weekdays from 2 to 6 p.m. on 97.3 The Fan.
And Odyssey Sports Station.
All right, 10 seconds is up. You may speak again.
All right, thank you very much. Shelty, wanted to ask you about, we had some fun with this earlier in the week. We were talking about, you hear it a lot in every camp. Oh, there's a lot of competition for left field, right? And you bring in 4, 5, 6, 7 guys, whatever. what does a competition look like from the manager standpoint, right? Because, in a black and white world, it's all right. We have 5 guys. They're all competing for a left field job. You hit 470 with 3 home runs and 12 RBI, and you're looking good out in the field. You win the job. It doesn't always work that way. So from your perspective, what is it that a skipper looks for, to maybe fill a spot? Which again, we talked to you about Jurickson Profar and the loss of him. How do you recreate a Jurickson Profar with the guys that you have now?
Yeah, I mean, so broad answer to your question is, the numbers don't lie necessarily. You do pay attention to them,
Sure.
but you don't get married to them. In the sense of that, look, let's see what kind of quality of bats they're having. We win in a lot of different ways. We win with the numbers, but we win in the, moments that take place in the clubhouse, moments that take place. You mentioned Tyler Wade earlier.
Yep.
Tyler Wade's a winning player. How do you define that? It's hard to qualify.
Sure.
But he helps you win games. That's all you know. And he does that by lifting others up. He does that by seeing the game. He does it by his energy. All those are variables that, clearly he's got ability. If he didn't have the ability, you could be on the club.
He'd be at fantasy camp with me. Exactly.
Yeah, you could be on the team with some of these attributes that I'm sure you have. But so it's a mixture
I'll
of.
take that as a compliment, actually. Yeah,
A huge compliment.
Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, your abilities clearly there, and how you fit with the group and how to put the team together. That's the other part about it. What do what's the team need, and what's this guy going to bring?
Yeah.
So it's not absolutely in a vacuum.
Mike, how are the ABS challenges, the automated ball strike system, going from your perspective? I've seen other managers. I think Terry Francona said we're not doing it. They're not going to do it this year, so they're not going to worry about it. What's been your observations, though, of seeing it in play in some of these Cactus League games?
It's been interesting. I'm still getting my head around it. It's different. Different doesn't mean good or bad, just different. We're not spending a lot of time on it. We had a brief explanation of just how it works to our guys. We owed that to them. But we've not put any feedback loop towards it, which we typically do with everything, because it's not going to come into play. There are some notes off to the side that'll be archived, because let's don't kid ourselves. It's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming. But, we're getting ready for a championship 2025 season, and we're not going to spend a lot of time and energy thinking and working on something that's not going to be in play.
Next spring training, though, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The notes are there, and getting a feel for it and thinking about, the thing that's interesting to me, at least, is how it has to be done. I understand the immediacy of it, but they're potentially during the future, there's a real strategy of when to use it and educate the players when to maybe think about using it from a big picture game perspective. I thought Maldonado did a good job with it yesterday. Used it at an appropriate time, to try to prevent a leadoff walk.
We'll see, obviously, how the team looks when you guys break camp and who's on the roster and who's in the 5th spot and who's catching, who's playing left field. But for you, Schulte, and I know, we talked about this too, your teams traditionally, there's a build, and that's a good thing, right? You want to be playing your best baseball when it really matters the most. Do you feel any extra pressure to get off to maybe a hotter start this year than maybe you did last year? Or does that not change?
I listen, it's interesting. One thing we talk about, I believe in sincerely, is, better as the game goes, series goes, season goes.
Yep. You've said that like a mantra since you got here.
It's important. It's served me well.
Yeah.
And teams I've been a part of well. That being said, clearly you want to get off to a good start. I also come from a mindset of, like, that April game is just as important as that June game, as important as that September game, and clearly the October games are important. And yes, we definitely want to get off to a good start. I can tell you that, last year there was a lot of variables that came into play. I don't need to really, unless you want to know them, list them necessarily. The big points is, because they can be perceived as excuses.
Sure.
And I'm not in the excuse business. I'm in the solution business. But now, we've been together a year. There's clarity what we're doing, how we're doing it, why we're doing it. We've got a, more traditional spring training. and but we expect to be able to perform and compete March 27th and onward.
And with that traditional spring training, there's more games, which means more time to watch some younger players like Ethan Salas and Leodalis DeVries, who've gotten into a few of these games. And do you have to stop yourself sometimes and remind yourself they're just 18 years old?
Don't you?
Ethan's so mature. I mean, I listened to him even talking, and he sounds like he's been a veteran forever. And then, I mean, the ball off the bat of DeVries yesterday, no 18-year-old should be able to do that off a, even anyone in a major league camp at this point seems crazy. What's your impressions of those two young men so far?
Yeah, multiple things to this question. It's a good one. The future's bright with those two guys, and really pivotal, as we all know, catcher, shortstop positions. Unpacking them. I first of all appreciate their ability. To your point, special players. You look back in time at guys that. I talked to Manny the other day. Broke in at 20. Jackson 20. You start looking at guys that have long-term successful players. They break in at a young age, So, and I never really get too caught up, but it is impressive that they're 18. But their ability's clear. The way they go about it has been really impressive. There is some growth, as you would expect, it needs to continue to take place. But that's why we're here, helping them understand. The real spread of this, they have big league talent. It's now continuing to help them have a big league mindset. One of the things that's been a challenge for guys with that kind of talent that have a chance to be on a physical trajectory to a big league, especially a clubhouse that expects to win, is the spread of what they need to understand emotionally or mentally. And so, that's important. That they start to pick up some of these nuances because they're coming quickly, and if they don't get them between now and then, that's the intentionality to really their development. That to the question earlier a little bit about, performance is important, but it's the nuanced things that help you win games.
Well, Mike, we appreciate you sitting down and spending some time with us. We'll have our agent contact your agent about setting up a dinner.
Well, I don't have an agent. And I know, high-profile radio guys like yourselves
I'm actually embarrassed that I have one. And he
are well represented on the agents factor.
How'd you get a contract extension without an agent?
He did it himself.
I'm more of a public course player. I carry my own bag. Drove a 2006 Tundra for, almost 15 years.
Did you upgrade that this offseason?
No.
New deal?
No,
nothing?
did not.
No, all right.
Nope, I upgraded it and still now have a 2021 Jeep.
All right.
There you go.
That I'll probably have for
He's
another
a man of the people.
15 years. I try to be.
Yeah. He is.
But hey, I deal with agents fair amount, and I'll be happy to talk to your agent and negotiate with him. But look, you guys are amazing, and appreciate your support for our club.
Thank you,
All right, good luck against the White Sox today. I know you've dropped a couple here lately. Fans are starting to get restless back home. So better come back with a win.
Save it. You can absolutely save it right now.
I need to get fire those guys up today.
Yeah, right? Why don't you go in and you get them going? Yeah.
Mike Schilt, the manager of the San Diego Padres. He is truly a delight, especially here at spring training. Love talking to him. We're going to take a timeout, a little overdue. We'll reset for the second half of Ben & Woods when we come back here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3. Skipper Mike Schilt stopped by in our last segment. Kind of got back on schedule here. Thanks for hanging with us, Tier 1s. We are live from the back patio at the Peoria Sports Complex. Got a lot of the guys in minor league camp having their breakfast right now on the tables in front of us. Like free entertainment for everybody. They're really just enthralled with our conversation, all the minor leaguers here.
Yeah.
They could learn something from our next guest, actually, because
I'm sure they have, actually.
Sitting down with us right now, always a treat to get to chat with Padres pitching coach Ruben Niebla. Ruben, it is great to see you. You're looking very fit and healthy.
You look great.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys look great.
Thank
Are you
you.
kidding me? I feel bad about myself sitting next to you
Come on,
guys.
get out of here. Flattery will get you everywhere. Ruben, how are you, man?
I'm doing great.
How's
Really
camp?
excited.
How's camp been?
Go very smoothly. It's going.
Good.
Yeah. A
lot of work
very
for you.
impressed. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of pitchers, right?
A lot of
we're,
pitchers.
We're close to 40 pitchers in camp, and so you got to organize all those guys, make sure they're all getting looks.
We had a funny moment this morning. We talked to Kyle Hart for the first time, and I said, I'm sure you were excited to come and work with Ruben. He said, absolutely, one of the reasons I signed. And he said, and I started kind of bending in his ear already, and Ruben said, we'll get to you. We're fine. We'll just hang on.
Relax.
Slow down.
Yeah, slow down a little bit.
I think that, it's important for them to be themselves when they get here. You get a little bit further, and what you want to get done. The plan is there. It's just I want to make sure that he's in the right mindset to be able to execute it.
And again, with 40 pitchers that you're working with, everybody has a different personality. Everybody has different stuff. Everybody has different stuff they want to do.
Right.
Ruben, I want to learn this. Can you teach me this? I mean, how much of is it like drinking from a fire hose sometimes?
It is a little bit, but at the same time, you got to be organized. You got to be organized when you come into these settings. When you know this is going to happen, you got to have a plan, and most importantly, you've got to make sure that the player understands the plan.
Yeah.
When they understand themselves and who they are and what they're capable of doing and where their limitations might be, it's a lot easier to have those conversations.
Yeah, on that note, we've seen a couple of guys who have arrived in the organization, and they learn a new pitch when they get here, maybe a sweeper. But how does that process work? Do you just go one day, okay, you're going to learn the sweeper? Or do you see all right, this guy might have an aptitude for this certain pitch? I mean, adding a pitch is not just like flipping a switch and a light bulb goes on.
Right. No, yeah, there's a little science to it.
Yeah.
Different deliveries, different arm actions, different arm slots create different shapes. And what you want to do, and the way I go about business is, what is their best pitch right now? How do we complement that pitch?
Yeah.
And so once you start identifying their aptitude and their ability, are they supinators? Are they pronators? Do they fly open? Do they stay closed? All this stuff. Once you start identifying that, you kind of have to start making sense of what the guy can probably benefit from.
Well, we've already heard, we've heard a bunch of guys being mentioned already from guys out here, guys that have faced, the Bradley Rodriguez's of the world and some guys that you're probably really excited about. The thing is these days, Ruben, is everybody throws hard. I was watching a video of a kid, I think he was a sophomore in high school the other day, and he's pumping 96.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I remember in high school, if the guy threw 85, you're like, we're dead. We're not hitting this guy tonight. I mean, it is truly amazing how much velo is going on out here. For you, what impresses you the most? I mean, everybody's got a big arm. Everybody's got a big arm out here. But when you're watching a guy, what impresses you the most as a pitching coach?
Be surprised. It's probably the toughest thing to identify is the competitiveness.
Nice.
Like, I want a guy that's going to be out there, is going to get punched in the mouth and know what to do with that.
Right.
And I think that's one of the things that, it's the toughest to probably teach.
Yeah.
And so that's, once they come with that competitiveness, that toughness, that grittiness, once they come with that, it's like, okay, let's start shaping around that. I know that's something that every pitcher wants to do, but
they don't all have it. That's the thing. And is that something that you feel like you can teach, or is that something that's kind of inborn in them?
Hey, it's tough to teach, but you can get guys build their confidence, and a lot of times confidence comes with success.
Yeah.
Or does success come
with confidence,
right? And so you got to be able to know which one it is.
It's the same for hitters. I mean, you go up to the plate thinking you're going to do damage. You're more likely to, but yeah, I guess I never thought of it that way.
When AJ brings in new pitchers, I assume he'll consult with you a little bit, but it does feel like some of the newcomers, like Nick Pivetta, Kyle Hart, again, who we met earlier, have a bit of that edge and intensity to them. That seems like maybe that's a deliberate part strategy of the organization and AJ to
Right.
bring more of those guys in.
Right. I think we do a pretty good job identifying those guys. It's going to be tough to have 15 Joe Musgroves running around.
Right.
But I think that overall, we have a core group of guys that are competitors, that are fiery, that want to win. And so that's hopefully that builds the fire around the staff.
So with your bullpen, the way that it's shaping up now, I mean, I think the fan who is not here every day, the fan that just watches, and you can be a hardcore fan. And I look at myself as a hardcore fan, but I would have no idea how to select, hey, man, we might have a couple of spots in the bullpen. This guy throws really hard. We should give him a shot. Sean Reynolds is a great example.
Right.
That guy he is absolutely nasty. I was so bummed to hear he's got the stress reaction in his foot, because I was looking at him this year, and it still may happen, as a guy that, kind of flew on the scene, had a little command issues in the minors, and then got to the big leagues and was dominant.
Right.
So for you, as you're rounding out your bullpen, filling it out, how tempting is it to just get the guy that just throws as hard as he can?
It would be very tempting, but I need guys that throw strikes.
There you go.
And so, I mean, you want to. A bullpen also is built around guys that have different attributes, right? So different slots, different shapes.
Yeah.
They're able to match up. So you have the Alec Jacob,
I was just gonna bring him up.
is a great example, guy that fits great into a bullpen because of his uniqueness.
Yep.
You have Morhone, you have Peralta, you have Matsui, Jason Adam, you have Suarez, all those guys.
He's giving you all their slots.
All the
It's so
slots.
great.
I'm giving all the slots. So they all come from different, and they all create different shapes for the most part.
Yeah.
So that is also like a attribute of a good bullpen.
And then there's the knuckleball.
And then there's the
Is there
knuckleball.
anything you
There's nothing that I
can do, Matt Walter?
There's nothing that like I said.
Well, it's not only him. It's you can put any catcher back there for any of those other guys. You got to find the right catcher, and it's got the knuckleball's got to be working.
Right.
Matty Waldron is it's a marvel to see when it works.
It's a beauty.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
He is so locked in this spring right now.
I love that.
And the reason is he's throwing the knuckleball in the strike zone more consistently. We've changed a little bit of what he's doing in between outings. We actually gave him his own personal catcher now.
So there's something you can do.
Oh yeah, there is. Yeah, I guess there is. But as far as he gets on the mound, if he's throwing a bullpen, there's another guy next to him. I go, Matty, go throw the knuckleball, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm going to work with this guy over here, and he's perfectly fine with that. He's embraced it now.
What is in his case? I read an interesting piece about him last year. He had a lot of success, and honestly, we don't make the playoffs without Matty Waldron, in my opinion. I mean, the way he kind of carried it in that stretch, and then I read, maybe he lost a little bit of confidence, or what is the reluctance to just get up there and throw the knuckleball every single time until you find it?
Yeah, I think the knuckleball is one of those pitches that, just like anything else, if it's not in the strike zone, Matty knows that he had a fastball, a sweeper, a cutter that he can throw in the strike zone.
Yeah.
So he would fall back into that pattern.
Got it.
So what we have to do is be able to help Matty get that knuckleball in the strike zone more consistently, so that he wants to throw it.
Sure.
We just need to be more competitive more often.
And I'd imagine, it takes a lot of courage. For any of them to get up there. We saw what happened with Cole Paplum, just awful, a few days ago. But to go up there with major league hitters and now, I'm going to throw this ball pretty easy over the middle and trust that it's going to move. Because if it doesn't, they're going to hit it really hard. And I'm standing 60 feet, 6 inches away. That takes some courage to do that as well.
Yeah, it also takes courage to say, the catcher doesn't even want to call it catch it.
Oh, that's true.
That means that the hitter probably doesn't want to see it.
Yeah.
That's so true. So true, man. Yeah, there's a look. There's a lot to love about what you guys have going this year. So you're looking at, you got your first four, assuming injury, no injury bug rears its ugly head. For the I love the competition for the fifth spot. For you as a pitching coach, how does that work? Watching these guys on a daily basis. Will you guys all get in a room at some point and say, that's the guy. That's the guy at the end. And then this is, do you all have to agree on it, or who makes that ultimate call?
I'm not sure.
Just text me. Text
I'll
me.
text you. I'll text you guys. We'll do a poll.
We can do a Twitter poll.
Yeah, there you go.
Let me guess. Mike makes the ultimate call, but if you strongly recommend something, he's the kind of guy that's going to listen to you about that.
I think we have side off conversations, and then there's. I think at the end of the day, AJ is in charge of putting this team together and the roster together, and guys fight for positions, stuff like that, and he's going to ultimately help us make the final decision.
Well, and again, I mean, it's so fluid. How many starters did you guys use last year? 8 starters.
Only eight.
That's not a lot, right? But and we've heard that message before. It takes more than 5 to get through a season for sure. And how do you feel right now about the depth of your starting rotation, 5 and beyond?
Yeah, I really like where we're at. I mean, you're looking at Matt Waldron, you're looking at Kyle Hart, you're looking at Randy Vasquez, Burrito, Kolick is now in the mix.
Yep.
So you've got some guys that you can pick from there. We just signed Wes Benjamin as well, and so there's guys that we can definitely lean on there. And some of those guys might end up in our bullpen,
sure,
right, as long guys. So it's a nice little competition, and I'm going to enjoy it. Yeah.
Well, Ruben, I wanted to thank you again for appearing on our Christmas and holiday extravaganza show. That was really fun to have you on that day, and now it's great to see you in person here at spring training. So thank you.
Good to see you guys.
Keep up the good work, my friend.
Forget how good looking you guys are.
Thank you so much. Like I said, flattery will get you everywhere on this program.
Ruben Niebla, politician over here. Padres pitching coach. All right, we're going to take a quick timeout. We'll come back. There was a funny moment that happened during yesterday's Padres spring training matchup. I assume Ruben probably caught it yesterday with the ABS system. We'll get to that. We got a lineup out for today's game against the Chicago White Sox as well. Talk about all of that coming up with Bennett Woods live from Padres spring training in Peoria, Arizona on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97. We're back here. It is 8:39 a.m. back in San Diego, 9:39 Mountain Time here at spring training. Padres Peoria just had Mike Schilt and Ruben Niebel, the Brain Trust, joining us in our last couple of segments. And Mike was kind enough to leave us a lineup, Woodsy, as Jake mentioned. He's going to be there.
All right, I'm starstruck now, dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wait.
All
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
I'm
So
starstruck.
this was one we've been looking forward to ever since we knew we were coming out here. And he is sitting down right now. We almost got the handshake for Paul. But joining us right now is the 3-time Major League batting champion, the defending National League batting champion, Luis Arraez is with us here on 97.3 The Fan. Luis, it is a pleasure to see you. Thank you for joining us here on Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Thank you for having me here. So I'm glad to be here with San Diego Padres. And especially, it's my first year here in Arizona, you know.
Yeah.
So I enjoy so far. So this is cool weather too. So.
It's great weather. It's an honor to meet you. I mean, there's two things I want to talk to you about, and it's two of my favorite things in the world. Paris, where you just went, and hitting. My two favorite things in the world. and I know we heard your story. You know, you had the surgery in the off season.
Yeah.
First of all, you're feeling great. You're looking great at the dish. But you said you took a vacation. Your first vacation. Now, your first vacation ever anywhere?
Yeah, I mean, especially to Paris.
Yeah.
With my wife, we celebrate his birthday there, and then finally, I was relaxed there for first time in my life.
You relaxed the first time you left. I felt that way last year. I went to Hawaii, and it was the first time I felt like I relaxed in 30 years. But how amazing was Paris?
Oh, it's amazing, especially the holiday. The only thing I don't like there is the food.
You didn't like the food?
No, I don't like the food.
I love the food there.
I mean, I try to look for
Even the bread? Come on, the bread was good.
The bread is the best. I mean, with coffee. But, I try to order some steak there, and I say, oh, my gosh, I can't find it, man. I was so hungry, and then my wife ordered a couple of seafood there.
Yeah.
I say,
no.
Hey, bring me bread. So I eat bread. Yeah.
All right, well, we got Paris out of the way. Let's talk hitting, man. I to watch you hit every day is truly an honor. It really is. It's amazing, and the work that you put in the off season. So just kind of tell us a little bit about your approach every day when you get up to the plate. Do you study the opposing pitchers a lot? Do you put in a lot of video work and things like that?
Yeah, especially when I go to bed. I watch the video from like today I'm hitting. I go to my house and I sit in my bed. I just start and watch my video. You know, when you watch video, you see your routine. You say, hey, you do this good. You did bad things. I don't know, but the other days I come early. I do my routine every day with Victor, with anybody there in the batting cage, and I love to do my team work. If I don't do my team work, I'm out.
Well, it's funny because I had heard from somebody in baseball that there's a couple of organizations right now, I won't name any names, that have actually pulled all of the tees out of their facilities. Big league teams have pulled the tees. They don't want their guys hitting off the tee anymore. And you're the first person I thought of because I saw how much tee work you put in. It's so important. I got two little boys that play baseball. They live on the tee. You have to be 100%. On the tee every single day. Why is it so important for you?
It's important because anybody move the tee. Because when you hit a flea from the coach,
yep,
they not a perfect. They throw everywhere, you know. So if you put the tee inside, the tee anybody move.
Right.
You just put the ball, hit the ball. You put the tee outside, anybody move. You go the other way. That's why I like the tee too. And especially you don't try to do too much when you see the tee. But when you don't use the tee, what you can do? Put the ball, hit and fly balls. You don't got any routine. I mean, I want to fade that thing. Don't use the tee.
Sure. Yeah. It's pretty amazing when I heard that story. I couldn't believe it. I thought we don't need to outsmart the game of baseball because, you know, one of the best hitters on the planet, if not the best hitter on the planet, nobody puts the bat on the ball better than you do. He uses the tee every day. Yeah. We should all be using the tee every day if you're a baseball player.
I mean, I want to fade that thing. Don't use the tee. I want to fade those guys.
Yes.
I mean, if San Diego Padres say,
no more tee?
Don't use the tee. I mean, I don't come anymore. I don't come anymore because, I mean, it's my strong part, you know.
Yeah.
Use my routine. If I don't do my routine because I'm tired, no.
Yeah.
You put excuse. I go to the cage. I just try to hit the ball to the middle, move my teeth, do five swings, and that's like 15 swings. You'll be fine.
I love it.
We're talking to Luis Ariz here on 97.3 The Fan, and obviously, Luis, you were pretty dang good last year. You won a batting title, but you were dealing with that thumb injury for much of the season. How much did it impact you, and how different do you think things will be this year now that you're feeling healthy?
I mean, last year was a tough year for me, especially Miami trained me. And then I'll be honest, I was a little scared because the timing is changed here. And then I feel in bottom of the fifth inning, I feel sleepy. And then it's not at me.
It's just late.
It's late. I say, oh my gosh, I feel so tired. Yeah,
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I watch the pitch. I say, oh my.
You also get sleepy in the fifth
I
inning
get
too.
sleepy
so-
in the fifth inning too, bro.
The timing is changed, So yeah, but I'm enjoying a lot of my part here. And I mean, I'm glad to be San Diego Padres, and then especially when the team received me, they opened the door for me. I say, wow, I got a big opportunity, and then I go play. That's what I need to do. And then when I break my thumb, my ligament, I say, okay, you need to be strong. I don't want to put excuse because I miss a lot of pitch middle. No, I put my mind strong and say, okay, if Manny play her, if Tatis play her, I can do that too. Why
That's
not?
amazing. That's
So,
amazing.
I'm a team man. I'm a teamwork. So if everybody play hard, I'm going to play hard.
We would watch you. I would watch you hit last year, and you'd swing, and it would just be immediate like this. And it's so hard to do, even with two good hands. Hitting the baseball is still so hard at this level. I would imagine to watch you grind through it. I think a lot of the fan base really respected that about you. And I wanted to ask you too. There's a lot of good young hitters in there as well, guys like Jackson Merrill. How much do you guys work together? Does he ask you questions about your approach to certain pitchers and how he handles ABs?
Yeah, hand way. They try to hit the ball the other way. And then I say, hey, if you hit the ball the other way, you got maybe 3 here every day, because you stay inside to the ball. And then especially Jackson, he got a lot of power, man.
A lot of power.
I say, bro, just find a barrel. Try to hit the ball to the middle left field. If you got the power, I hit it the other way every time. I mean, I still do that, but not with the power. So the only thing I say to those guys, I say, hey, don't try to do too much. Don't try to do too much. Just go there, hit the ball, and then don't push too hard.
Luis, you seem like such a positive person. There's a TV show called Ted Lasso about a soccer coach. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's just all about being positive. And I wanted to know, where do you think you got that? Growing up in Venezuela, and I don't know what the outside perception of Venezuela is it can be it's dangerous, it's whatever going on. Where did that positivity come from when you were growing up?
I think my mom. My mom gave me she support me a lot. And then she did everything for me. She said, hey, let's go to the training. Let's go hit the ball. Let's go do whatever you want to do to get better. And then she's always do everything good for me. And then I wanna be better every day. If you not got energy, what you can do? You need a smart. You need to enjoy this game. This game is hard. I mean, it's not impossible, but it's hard. You need to enjoy them, So everybody throw 100% every day. They throw hard. They throw, 1 or 2, and then if you're serious, you don't enjoy this game, you'll be out.
It's such a long season, it's such a grind of a season for you guys, and different opponents, different pitchers. For you, the preparation and the routine is something that you talk about a lot. What is it like in August, in September? And you've played on some teams that weren't great, right? And you were kind of out of it, but you still carried yourself like a pro, still went out and got your knocks every day. How hard is that to do in August and September after you're tired?
Yeah, it's hard, but it's my job, so I have to do that. I bring my little bat to my hotel room every day. I do my team work. I don't got balls in my hotel room, but I just put the tee. I just close my eyes and then boom, do my routine like somebody throw the ball to me, and then I'll be ready to the stadium.
Yeah.
And then I got a lot of chance to take a nap. So
I love it now.
Yeah.
Are you a napper?
Yeah,
I'm a napper too. I gotta get one.
You know who
in.
teach me?
Who?
Nelson Cruz.
Nelson Cruz said you got to get a nap.
Nelson teaches everybody everything.
He does.
Yeah,
he does.
So, Luis, I don't know this, but we're friends with Skip Schumacher.
Yeah,
when he
it's our
used to
guy.
be here. When you were traded, he told us you were going to love him.
He said
so
you're
he
gonna
was so
love him.
sad to lose you.
He
It was
was.
like you were going to love him so much. but we have a request for you. Woods actually
Oh, yeah. I have
has a request, and he wants to know if you will do the first base coach on his chest. And
Okay.
Sammy, can you get the video out, because you do it hard. You've seen it every time Luis Ariz gets a base hit. David Macias, the first base coach, gets it. You just here, get to first base. Yeah, here it comes. He's going to first base, and there you go. And
Hey, that was low energy, but
That was low energy?
So pick up the microphone and explain. When did that start? Why did you start doing that?
Macias gets like 200 of those a year, dude,
Hey.
right in the chest.
and then I'm starting with the first base coach from Minnesota
Yeah.
in 2022. I saw him like sleeping there. I said, okay, I need to get on base.
Get up.
And then I get 2 RBIs because I fake one green key, I think.
Yeah.
With bases loaded. I get line drive with the changeup, and then I hit him. I said, okay, I start do this.
Yeah,
Next
yeah.
at bat again, and then I don't stop. And then 2023 with John Jay, he got a lot of energy, man.
He does. Yes, he does.
And then he got energy, I got energy. He loved that. And then when I get here, Macias, you need to be ready. You need to be ready, man, because
It's coming.
Hey, I'm coming hard to you, man. And then he like it, man. I just want to bring the energy to my teammates too. So they love that.
Yeah, I remember your first game. I mean, remember his first game as a San Diego Padre?
And then I was at the home game, the walk-off in the home game.
The walk-off
was
in the home game was
amazing.
just
It was
absolutely
so fun.
incredible.
What a night that was.
It was amazing. The energy you brought.
Hey, I'm
the
sorry,
clubhouse.
man. I'm
No,
sorry.
Dude, I want it again.
You-
I want it again.
Okay.
I want 200, 220 of those this year, man. Every time you get one, I'm going to get one too. I'm going to bring that into my little league. I'm going to bring that into my
Yeah,
little
do
league.
it.
Let those
Yeah.
kids do it.
It doesn't hurt when a 6-year-old does
No,
it.
it doesn't hurt when a 6-year-old does it. But thank you so much. It's such an
Luis.
honor to meet you, man. Pleasure.
Thank you so much. Have a great season.
Thank you.
Cheering for you as always.
right.
Luis Ariz going for a 4th straight batting title this year with the San Diego Padres, and glad that he's back. Obviously, there were some rumors and discussions in the offseason, but he's here now and he's getting ready for the season. He's looking healthy and ready to get back at it for the San Diego Padres. I had that lineup for you. I don't think Luis, you're not playing today. No, he's off today. So here's
Getting his T work, dude.
Here's the lineup for you. Jake Cronenworth's going to play second base and lead off against the White Sox over in Glendale. Xander Bogaerts batting second at shortstop. Jackson Merrill hitting third in center field. Yuli Gurriel will be the designated hitter batting cleanup. Gavin Sheets is at first base today hitting fifth. Good to see Luis Camposano back in the lineup after dealing with the flu. He will bat sixth behind the plate. Connor Joe is the left fielder hitting seventh. Oscar Gonzalez batting eighth in right field. They were talking about Oscar yesterday. There was a piece in the UT about how he carried the 2022 Cleveland Guardians. You got a little bit of a red spot right there. Yeah,
Copy good.
He got you good.
That's great.
On the chest.
That was great.
But he's trying to lower that strikeout rate and increase the walk rate a little bit, Oscar. And then Mike Brasso is how they say it, is the third baseman, and then Ryan Berger on the mound. We will come back after a quick check of traffic, get you to the top of the hour. We've still got more to come from Padres spring training here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855.
So you see, I was very clever about that. I figured if we did it while I was still talking on the air and describing
wouldn't have to
then
do
I wouldn't
it.
have to get up and do it.
You SOB.
I know.
I love it.
I know, but I think it was a treat because everyone got to see. Now, he said it was low energy, but I heard it.
It did not feel
it
low
made
energy.
It made a good slapping sound.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch. Sammy just sent that over.
Yeah, it's already posted at our 97.3 The Fan SD X account as well.
Man.
He
If
got
you
me
want
good.
to see the video of Luis Ariz giving
What a-
Woods the
what
first
a-
base coach slap.
I got to tell you, I mean, I've met most of these. I met most of these dudes. When he sat down, I was starstruck, like legitimately. I've been watching that guy forever, and And I love hitters. I love guys that are elite hitters. And, there's Tony Gwynn Jr. sitting over there. And obviously, you hear the comparisons all the time. But, my God, to meet him in person, dude, I was like starstruck.
I mean, it's crazy to say. 3-time defending batting champion.
What an elite
when someone
hitter.
sits down.
Great Yu Darvish walking by. This is
man,
insane.
it is so fun to be here. We've
So
got
great.
one more hour to go.
Shirt.
Yep.
Don't go anywhere. More Ben and Woods on the way. We're going to give away those SDFC tickets coming up as well on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. All right, I've got to be a little bit quieter than I've been before because Mike Schultz doing his daily presser about
You don't want to upset Schultz.
5 yards away.
You don't want to upset Schulte.
No.
Again.
Again.
Hey,
And
boy,
again.
you shut up.
And
boy.
again. And
Swear to
again.
God, boy. Keep flapping them gums, boy. I told you I want to get him to call you boy this year.
I know.
More than anything in the world. I'll pay you,
I
Max.
got close today when
Pretty
I
much.
jokingly suggested that
I don't.
a 2 or 3 game losing streak in Cactus League play is unacceptable.
Save it. I don't know that he knows that you're joking. I think he really believes that you are upset.
That was a real treat to get to sit down with Luis Ariz in our last segment. It's really the reason we come out here is that it's hard to set up those guys during their season. You know, they're traveling. They've got all kinds of work to do. They're up late for games. But when we're sitting out here, we do get this incredible opportunity to get to know them a little bit better, to get some of their stories. I thought talking about his mom being his inspiration, taking him to hit off the tee, hitting the cages, growing up in Venezuela and having that positive attitude that he brings just every day into the clubhouse and onto the field was pretty amazing.
I think my favorite part of it was him talking about the time difference from Miami to San Diego. I legitimately never thought about it, and it kind of hit him all at once. He's like,
well, you do adjust at some point. You're now living on the West Coast.
You do adjust, certainly, but again, you think about what these guys put their bodies through with the travel, the course of the season, and all that. But then you get out here and you're playing games here on a regular basis, and you're like, why am I exhausted? Oh, because it's 11 o'clock where I have been playing for the last couple of seasons. I thought that was really hysterical and just really open. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, we've got some SDFC tickets we're going to give away this hour. Those I heard yesterday, I think it was the day before, talking about the prices. I think it's 78 was like the get-in price for that first SDFC game. So that's a pretty good prize. Pair of tickets to the game. I think it was Scraby was talking about, well, what does it cost to go to like a Barcelona game? And he goes, well, it's about the same to get to one of those games as well. So this is a history-making game for San Diego FC.
Oh, yeah.
This Saturday, though. So that's a pretty good prize. We'll do that in just a couple of minutes here. So stay tuned for that. We just gave you the lineup for the game today. We might have Tony Gwynn Jr. dropping by after the Mike Schilt press conference. He's standing around with the scrum right now.
And
so
I've been told they are working on it, but the architect himself, AJ Preller,
oh, nice.
Trying to get him on before we get out of here in the next hour.
Oh, nice.
Biggest fan?
That's right. It is 9 o'clock. Let's give our biggest fan out right now. Thank you for the reminder, Woodsy.
It wasn't me. It was Brandon in the chat. I would have never
Thank you, Brandon, in the chat. It is time to announce today's biggest fan.
So dialed in.
If you hear your name called, you'll have 10 minutes to call Frankie back in the studio at 833-288-0973 and qualify for our grand prize, 20 tickets for you and your friends for a night in our Odyssey Suite at a Padres game later this season. Remember, you can register your name at 97.3thefan, sd.com/biggest fan. But this morning, the honor goes to Jason Bullock from El Cajon. Jason Bullock, you are on the clock for 10 minutes right now, 833-288-0973. Good luck. Frankie is standing by back in the studio to take your phone call for the next 10 minutes.
Man, you know what's the funniest thing about coming out here every year? Every single year I sit here and go, who beats us? Nobody beats us. We're winning the World Series every single freaking year, dude. I'm out here. I was watching Dylan Cease throw off the mound. I just watched Yu Darvish walk by, and I'm sitting here going, oh, my God. I love these guys. So excited to be here. I'm ready to run through a wall right now, whatever they need. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy.
I mean, there are a lot of good players.
A lot of good players.
And I'm sure that's true at a lot of the camps,
no
if
doubt.
not most of the camps.
Yep.
But when you sit down and you see them, and
truly hope springing eternal inside my body now.
But
it really is.
It's not a stretch of the imagination for the Padres.
No, it's not.
Yes, we know how good the Padres are.
It's going to take some luck. It's going to take some magic. But it's not that I don't think that this team is capable of finding some of that magic. Certainly.
We mentioned with Luis Ariz. Earlier we talked to with Tyler Wade. We asked him what position he prefers to play, and he said anywhere. And Jake is always kind of in the same way.
Yep.
I didn't ask Luis about it, but he had said in the UT yesterday, he said, I'm not a first baseman. I'm not a designated hitter. I'm a second baseman.
Yeah.
But wherever they need me to play, I'm happy to play. And so he's going to play first base this year, and he's been working on it, during spring training. But at least knowing, I think, going into the year that's going to be his role will make it a little bit easier for him.
No doubt.
All right, sitting down with us. We don't actually get to see him that often, and at least until baseball season starts, but it's always a pleasure to talk to our afternoon colleague here on 97.3 The Fan. Tony Gwynn Jr. is here with us. Tony,
good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
How are you?
How's your spring been so far?
Today is a week today, and it feels like a month, but it's been it's been fun. It's been
All right.
fun.
Well, so you went through this as a player. Tougher for a broadcaster or a player?
It's tougher for a player. Well, it depends on the type of player. Like if you are a guy who's established, spring training is relatively easy for you.
Yeah.
If you're a guy who,
Fighting.
like I was most of the time, fighting for a job, it's long days, a lot of stress. So I still put it on the player.
A lot of kind of I got to imagine too, because we were talking to Schulte and Ruben and the guys that are going to be ultimately making the decisions, right, on the fifth spot,
Yeah.
the sixth spot,
Yeah.
the bullpen, the left field, the catcher. When you're a player fighting, for a role, you're an Oscar Gonzalez or you're a even a Jason Hayward, coming in here. There's nothing guaranteed to any of these guys.
No.
Man, that kind of feeling of looking over your shoulder.
Yeah, I mean, there's two ways you can approach it. You are always going to have the feeling of looking over your shoulder.
Yeah.
But as I got, a little more service time under my belt, I realized you have to kind of attack it.
Right.
It can't be a kind of
The half-ass looking around.
You got to attack it and kind of create your space. And most of the time, when I did that, I had a lot of success. And that way you stop worrying about who's behind you. You're more focused on what you're doing.
Tony, obviously you get an eye for this, growing up the way you did with your dad. Who stood out to you? Just maybe a name that we haven't been talking about as much that you've seen either in a game or just in a cage somewhere that goes, oh, okay, something
Oscar
there.
Gonzalez,
Oscar Gonzalez
has stood out to me for sure. I kind of forgot about him, right? I mean, we saw him in 22, I think it was.
Dominated.
Had a
for
really
Cleveland.
good
Yeah.
season. And then, alas, what happens to a lot of young dudes, you lose some confidence and you become a different player. And kind of see him working the other way and talking to Victor Rodriguez about it. I mean, he's definitely on my radar. I thought Stephen Kolek looked fantastic yesterday.
A lot of strikes.
A lot of strikes. That sinker was, doing what sinkers do, getting ground balls.
Weak ground balls, breaking down.
I think those two, at least initially, have stood out to me.
And I think we've seen a lot, like you were just talking about, a lot of good players have come up through the league and maybe had success in their first year, and then you get into the second year and it's maybe I need to elevate my game a little bit.
100%.
We're human. At
Right.
the end of the day, we always forget that these guys are human because they do superhuman things. But I look at a guy like Jackson Merrill, and I looked at the adjustments he made game to game, series to series last year. What have you seen from Jackson so far this spring training?
I've seen a guy that is very conscientious, it's seemingly, of not having that year too. And I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I think sometimes, especially a player of his caliber, they recognize that there are guys who come through this league, had a really terrific rookie of the year type first year, and then, kind of lost their way. And I think he's very cognizant of that.
It's probably good to be cognizant that it exists, but not
Exactly.
don't dome yourself out about it so much.
And that's why I say I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing, right? You want to be aware of it, but at the same time, you don't want that to be your all.
That's it.
I don't guys like Jackson, at least at this point, I don't really worry about. This dude loves baseball
So much.
He is a baseball nut, and so because of that, a lot of the things that would bog down most people, I don't think will bog him down.
We talked to Tyler Wade this morning about
so good
about getting recruited by your dad to play at San Diego State before he was eventually drafted. We were just talking to Luis Ariz, and he was talking about his tee work and his video work. And again, your dad's name comes up again in that conversation. It's amazing, how many years it's been, and yet still it feels like he's a daily presence around here. His lasting legacy on the Padres.
He does feel like he's has a presence around here, and you know what? That is in part, obviously, for what he did, but in part to the people who are in this building that make it a point to keep his name, at the forefront. And we just so happen to have a few guys in camp that are in this organization that either are connected to him through how they work, or as in T-Way's situation, he was actually recruited by my dad. So I'm grateful that the people in this building, although the people have changed over time, they've all wanted my dad to still be very much a part of the organization.
I mean, you can't avoid it. I was on Twitter the other day, and the video popped up. It's kind of the overhead shot, and he's talking, "Get your foot down, get the knob."
Oh yeah.
So I got t-ball practice that night, and then I got baseball practice the next day with my 7-year-old, and I'm out there telling him the exact same thing. I had a game on Sunday. I'm in the box. Now I got my ass chewed up by the guy. He threw me a 3-2 splitter to a 50-year-old.
3-2 splits.
It's going to get you, right?
Watch out for
but in my mind, all I'm thinking of, get your foot down, stay balanced, get your knob to the baseball. This is, 35 years later, and it's still the most valuable information.
Listen, we were talking to Jesse about this yesterday. So much information out there that has made the game a little bit easier to kind of – it makes it an easier, an appetizing kind of thing to deal with. But a lot of things don't change.
They really don't.
I mean, mechanics of hitting. We can have this debate all day long, but the mechanics of hitting really don't change. There's different ways that people approach it, but mechanics of pitching don't change. Like, you still have to do the things correct for the most part to have success.
Yeah. So before we go to break, I want to play a clip from yesterday's game against the Angels, because you and Jesse, who's sitting right here as well, have become somewhat viral stars.
Yeah,
as
we're
part
making too much news.
A part of this moment.
Too much
attention. We talked to Schulte about the new ABS system and the challenges, and the home plate umpire, Mike Malinsky, yesterday had 3 plays overturned, 3 of his ball strike calls overturned when Brett Sullivan asked for number 4 late in the game. And here's what it sounded like yesterday here on 97.3 The Fan with Jesse and Tony.
Good breaking ball, just misses. Brett Sullivan get a challenge.
Ball call.
Brett has been expert at the ABS system.
Ooh.
The call is surprisingly correct.
Surprisingly. Elite. That is an elite call from that umpire.
Oh, we told you. Mike Malinsky, one of our favorites.
Yeah,
I
Mike.
came up through. I've seen this dude's grind, so I have a lot of respect for him. There aren't very many umpires in our league that have his sense of humor. Because him and what you guys don't know is him and Brett kind of going back and forth pretty much the whole game whenever he came in. And so they
in a friendly way,
100%,
super friendly way,
a super friendly way. And so I thought it was. That's why Jesse and I thought it was hilarious.
It was. This must be kind of a power trip for catchers now to have the power.
It works both ways though, because if you challenge one, right, and it's 1/8 of an inch off, if I'm the umpire, I'm definitely letting you hear about it. Like,
100%.
pretty
Told
good,
you.
huh?
Yeah, not bad.
I feel like Joe West wouldn't have been so self-deprecating.
Yeah, no, he would. Like I said, Mike is a rarity in this game.
Well, I love it. Ruben already said no pitchers are allowed to challenge. We're not going to let these guys, because everyone they think is a strike.
They're an emotional bunch. They're an emotional bunch.
I love it. I love it.
Oh, well, Tony, thank you for sitting down with us. Appreciate it. And you'll be on. So you got the game, or are you just on your show today?
I got the game, and then I'm
the
rushing
show,
home
and then Sammy's going to be on with you, I think, a part of it. So
I think I'm going to call in too.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay. We're trying to be flexible around here with
Whatever
our
they need.
schedule.
It's
Things are going. It's fluid. All right, we're going to take time out. We'll check traffic. We're going to give away the SDFC tickets. And guess what? Coming up at the bottom of the hour, we will be joined by the executive president of baseball operations and general manager of the Padres, AJ Preller, is going to be with us.
Love it. It's been a while.
All coming up here with Ben Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Be loose in the batting cages with the music, perhaps.
Oh, you want to be the DJ?
Yeah. I'm listening to Tucker Wetmore. I just had to Shazam it. Tucker Wetmore's Wine into Whiskey or something. It's not my favorite.
No, I wonder who the DJ is.
I don't know.
right now.
Who gets to pick?
The ultimate
been weird.
authority when it comes to music here at the Peoria Sports Council. It can't just be one person's job all the time.
No.
They have to have a mix.
Somebody that works here came by earlier and like, you want me to see if we can turn it down a
Yeah.
little bit? I'm like, if you want to turn it off, that'd be even better. But
I'm just
heartache medication.
and listen to the background. I'm like, oh my god.
The whiskey.
Can't do their work without a little bit of music, at least. in the
Yeah,
background.
no, it's fine. It's fine. You hear a Biggie or Tupac or anything?
Going to get caught up here before AJ Preller joins us at the bottom of the hour. Didn't really don't do this today, although I did think the video and audio from yesterday's Padres game and that challenge was a really good do this for umpire Mike Molesky. What is it? Mike
Molester?
McCleskey?
Is that what you were going to say?
No.
Mike Molester.
That's not it. That's
No,
not
okay.
it.
I
Don't do
thought
this.
that's what you said.
When we do it, Don't Do This is brought to you by Trust and Will. Don't leave your entire estate, house, kids, and life savings up to chance if and when you die. Do set up a Trust or Will online at trustandwill.com. It's a lot more affordable than you think. Visit trustandwill.com for more info. And as long as I'm taking care of business, let's also open up the phone lines to give away those tickets to the SDFC home opener, their first ever home match at Snapdragon Stadium this Saturday night. The time is now San Diego. San Diego Football Club's inaugural season is finally here. Team kicks off their first ever home match against St. Louis City SC Saturday, March 1st at Snapdragon Stadium. The first 30,000 fans in attendance will receive a free commemorative SDFC scarf, courtesy of DirecTV. Don't miss Mexican superstar Chucky Lozano and the rest of the squad. They are now 1-0. Are you ready? Single match and single tickets are on sale now. And season tickets, visit sandiegofc.com/tickets to secure your season seats today.
What do you know about St. Louis FC?
They were an expansion team just 2 years ago.
Okay.
So they're fairly new as well.
What's their record this season? Do we know?
I don't know if they won or lost their first game. Okay. So everyone's played just the once.
Yeah.
And I don't know
3 points for us.
We have three.
Three.
Yes, this is most you can have at this point.
Yeah.
If you want to call in and win, though, fifth caller at 833-288-0973 is going to win that pair of tickets to San Diego FC's home debut this Saturday night at Snapdragon Stadium. 7:30 start, so might be a little late for Luisa Rise to stay up for the entire second half of the match.
Speaking of Luisa Rise, we got our Little League unis the other day, and you go down to the snack shop and you pick them all up, and it's one of the benefits of being the coach's kid, right? You get your choice of numbers, right? You get your choice of numbers. That's exactly what's going to happen. Guess what the most popular requested number was, and we get 1 through 13. That's what we get.
1 through 13.
Yeah, the
All
most
right.
popular number in San Diego, 1 through 13.
Obviously, number 13.
I was going to say 13, but if you said speaking of Luisa Rise,
It's not 4.
Is it 4?
No.
No.
Little kids, ages 5 to 8. It's number 3. We had requests out the wazoo.
Right. Honestly, I was trying to remember what number Merrill was, but yeah.
He's the most Little League like of big leaguers I've ever seen.
No doubt.
That goes to something that he did earlier this week. So Jackson
This was amazing.
So he's in the lineup again today, and he's going to go to Glendale, and he'll probably play like 4 innings.
Yeah,
and because he's a big league, he's a big league starter. He's going to get pulled out of the game. Usually, when that happens, you get right back in your car or wherever, and you're headed back to the Peoria Sports Complex or whatever.
It's always they drive themselves. To
and it's always the funniest thing to see in the middle of a spring training broadcast. You see 15 guys with those big ass bags walking down through right field almost in the middle of the game as the other guys are playing.
This on Monday, I think when he had his last game here at the Peoria Sports Complex, all the starters, Manny, everybody, they're done after 4 innings. They came back, finish up their work and go home. Jackson stayed all 9 innings, sat there cheering for the minor league guys in the dugout for a spring training game that doesn't mean anything at all. But he said, those are my teammates, and I'm not an established veteran yet. I'm just a second-year guy. I'm still here with these young guys are my guys.
So we had
I'm sticking around with them.
Yeah, we had a very special request. Go figure. There's a Jackson on my team, and he wanted 3. So I had to convince Bo to give up 3, which was his number 1 request, and Bo ended up going with number 4. which is Luis Arraez's number, who he adores, and then Taylor ended up going with number 4 also because he does everything Bo does. So, and he's 4 years old.
All right, man.
So that one it flew off the shelves, but number 3 was requested by everybody. Everybody wants to be Jackson Merrill now.
You kind of don't want Jackson Merrill, obviously, to ever lose that.
Correct.
But at the same time, he doesn't have to stick around for every single inning of every spring training game.
No. But I mean, again, I think it's worthy of mentioning because it's just not something that happens all of the time.
It doesn't happen any of the time.
Ever of the time.
It's completely unheard of, essentially, at spring training.
That's pretty cool.
For a veteran player. And by the way, even if you have 1 year under your belt and you're guaranteed pretty much a starting position, he'll say, I'm not guaranteed anything. He'll say, no, it's just, that's not done anymore in baseball, if it ever was.
It's just not. It's not. No, we got about 30 minutes left. Going to be joined by AJ Preller here pretty shortly, and then, man, you know what? I'm excited to go back and watch. Just drills. Just watch these guys
I've been
drills.
watching Dylan Cease for the last 5 minutes.
Yep,
and
throwing a pen.
I can just sit here and watch it all day.
Logan Gillespie's in there as well, getting some work in. So yeah, I could watch this stuff absolutely all day. Is that? No. Okay. All right. So yeah, we're waiting on AJ.
What a morning.
Been incredible.
Been
I was just looking at
pretty
it.
amazing.
We're doing 12 segments today, start to finish.
Yep.
After AJ Preller wraps up the show with us, that'll be 9 guests.
Love it.
Out of the 12 segments, and every single one of them has been incredible.
They've knocked it out of the park. It's been so fun. A lot of good reviews there in the chat. Thank you guys for being here with us today. People saying, well, now I'm so fired up for my spring training trip. Yeah, I'm with you, man. I look at it, I'm like, we're winning the World Series. We're winning. Who's beating these guys? It's so fun.
Yeah, I mean, there's another team that's definitely going to have something to say about that. I did see that Blake Snell made his spring training debut for the Dodgers yesterday. Said he felt good, liked his velo with a scoreless inning.
He had a 30-pitch inning, and I saw a Dodger fan that I know, decent guy, was tweeting about it. He goes, everyone's making a big deal out of this, 30-pitch first inning. I go, bro, get used to it. I said a 30-pitch first for Blake Snell it's standard.
What the hell? Does Snell just go 3-2 on every single batter?
Yes, he absolutely does. But I told him, I said, get ready for this from now until August. I said, if you can ride the wave, there is no ceiling for Blake Snell.
It's interesting because when he came over from Tampa here, the thought was, Kevin Cash just wasn't letting him go deep into games. Padres are going to let him go deeper into games. It's like, no, it wasn't Kevin Cash.
He goes deep into innings, bro.
90 pitches through 3 innings.
Yeah, that's pretty much limited to how much you can throw.
It's so funny
when that's going to be your MO.
Because again, the guy literally, I'm not accusing him of being a casual. He comments a lot. He watches a lot of baseball, but he said, everyone's making a big deal. It's spring training. He's working on stuff. I'm like, no, he's not. This is Blake Snell. You are getting the June Blake Snell experience, my friend. A 30-pitch first is literally standard. Like, it's just, it comes with
it works
character.
For him. I mean,
and it works.
Would we like to see it here still? Of course.
Of course. And, you want to Cy Young and everything that. Like, the question is, Moot says, 75 pitches through 3 and then 90 pitches through 6. That's exactly what you get from Blake Snell every single time out. So it was pretty funny to see. But, yeah, man, they're going to be good. I saw Roki gave up a tank to the first guy he faced. But, again, I wouldn't get too fired up about it either fan base.
All right, let's take a timeout. We'll give AJ the floor when we come back. AJ Preller going to sit down with us for our final segment of Ben and Woods.
You think he's got 30 minutes in him?
Oh, yeah. AJ? Absolutely. He's carrying us to the finish line today with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Paulie just announced to us. I see a floppy hat coming this way.
Yes,
that is,
indeed.
That is the distinctive spring training attire of one A.J. Preller.
He can't look. He
is,
can't peel himself away from watching.
That's all right. We can
this bullpen.
We can get ready. We'll check our last traffic here coming up, and then we'll give him a couple of minutes to head on over. But it'll be good to catch up with AJ as he presides over the team that he has constructed, at least to this point. You know, with AJ, it's always a work in progress, and who knows if there could still be changes before opening day. But AJ Preller will join us right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan. Oh, yeah. Nelly Jr. Joseph. We're talking basketball. Talking a little college basketball, of course, with A.J. Preller because he was watching the Aztecs game last night as they pulled off a very important win. But we're actually here to talk baseball with the president of baseball operations and general manager himself, A.J. Preller. A.J., it's good to see you. How you feeling?
I got my illness out before spring training.
You did?
I probably was patient zero that gave it to the rest of us, unfortunately.
Was it the flu? Can't be mad.
I've had
whatever
like
it is.
2 bouts of whatever it is, cold, everything. So
I heard it's not great. This go around has not been great. But yeah, it's knocked some people out. I did see Toddy walk in. I saw Campy come in.
He's in the lineup today.
Yeah, Schulte said going to try to start easing them in. Guy like Fernando Tatis Jr. probably not too worried about getting his work in before he came in great shape. Looks to be really, really healthy, as is most of the club right now. Knock on wood.
Yeah, no, I think, it's spring training in terms of it seems like every year you kind of go through, obviously bumps and bruises, but then also, you kind of get through the flu season and everything like that. So, yeah, Toddy back in camp today, have plenty of time with, about a month to the start of the season. So, I think it's good to get it out of the way now and, get ready for the year.
So the dynamic of the offseason was, difficult for us, and I'm not asking for any sympathy, but, we're hearing from the fans who are wondering, hey, when are they going to sign some players? When are they going to add some pieces? They lost some pieces. And then we start kind of getting worried about it as well. And then the last few weeks, obviously, you made a lot of moves. Mm-hmm. And now you kind of show up when we look here. And the pitching depth looks pretty good. The competition for the last roster spots looks pretty interesting. How happy are you with how everything came together here over this last month?
Yeah, I think the roster build and, the construct, it's a fluid process. So, again, I think last year you looked and we made moves throughout spring training or going into spring training and then into the season. I think that the good, I think for us, we have that nucleus of players that have been parts now of playoff teams and playoff runs. So I think going into the year, and really over the course of, over the last few off seasons, you're going to have, a team that starts with Tatis and Merrill and Machado and Bogarts and Cronenworth and, Darvish, Musgrove, Cease King, going into it, obviously with Joe's injury. But, so I think it's there's all different times in terms of how to, making trades and free agent period. I think the other thing too is, again, we spent money to sign those players a few years ago, looking at a market that we thought was going to keep going up, and I think you look at what's going on in the market. There weren't too many deals that happened this offseason where we looked at and go, wow, that's really a value play or something that, I think from our standpoint, it just speaks to I think from our standpoint, trying to get ahead of it a few years ago with signing some of those players, because it's, again, the industry, the value of the players keeps going up and up. And, again, we were, I think, quietly on some fronts in the pursuit of some guys and made some offers, just didn't line up. And then to be able to line up here at the start of spring training on Nick Pivetta, make some other moves, that we think, can strengthen our depth. I think it leads to a competitive camp and a team that we feel like is going to be very competitive.
Well, it was so funny because we're talking to A.J. Preller here on Ben and Woods. The day before, it was Monday, and you guys signed Pivetta on Tuesday. And the day before, we had kicked it around. He's probably the best remaining guy out there. He's got really nasty stuff, can strike guys out. Pitched in Fenway, and imagine him at Petco. And then we all started talking about the pick that you would have to give up to sign a Nick Pivetta. And we all kind of, AJ really, he's not going to want to give that up. And of course, the next day it happens. for you, the risk reward of that, obviously you get Nick Pivetta potentially for 4 seasons. What did you see in him? Other than just the need in the fourth slot in the rotation, what did you see in Nick Pivetta that you liked?
I think a very good fit, in terms of, a pitcher that we feel like, has been a performer in, pitching the AL East and some tough ballparks between Philly and Boston. It's real stuff. He's got the ability to strike you out. He's got a real curveball, real sweeper in there. He's a guy that can start a playoff game.
Yeah.
So again, giving up the draft pick, it's always consideration. We value the heck out of the draft. You've got to always be looking towards that. That's your lifeblood. So that was not an easy decision to make there, but we thought ultimately the value we got, the fit for the team, and the potential upside of Pivetta, I think all those things lined up. I mean, over the last, few years, Cease, King, Darvish, Musgrove, Snell, we've brought in a lot of, Waka, Lugo a few years ago. We've brought in a lot of these guys from outside the organization. We think Pivetta is kind of that ilk and felt like he fit our club really well.
How much do you said you obviously value that draft pick? How do you put like a figure on it or like a player on it? Because you got players this year who are going into the last year of their deals that might get qualifying offers that could get you back draft picks, but you always have to think about, well, if I traded them now, I might be able to get other prospects. How do you do that process of deciding like what that future pick is worth versus what you can get in a trade now?
Yeah, I mean, I think again, we have our own metrics that we look at, our own valuation system. To me, it's like the ability to put a dollar value or just an overall kind of asset value on each of these players. So it don't want to be cold about it or harsh, from a business standpoint, but the ability. I mean, again, you look up and we've had the ability to draft well, and our scouting group does a great job getting that. So it's not like sometimes people, what's a baseball draft pick, what's a second round pick, what's a third round pick. Yeah, you look around the league and it turns into some of the best players in the game. So that's all part of the valuation. Also looking obviously what Pivetta can bring to our current team and what that means in terms of him throwing innings, pitching well, the quality statistics that we look at, weigh it all out, and ultimately make a call. That's the name of the game.
Over under 10 calls on Dylan Cease in the last 3 weeks.
There's always a lot of interest in a few of our players.
Sure.
It's been consistent all off season. So go ahead.
Well, I think I've asked you before, their baseball, and I think probably business in general, just outside of baseball, there is that blood in the water mentality sometimes. And if you perceive that maybe things are different in the Padres organization, we can pounce and maybe we can grab somebody. Has it been more or less this offseason for you, fielding calls from other GMs wanting some of your players?
No, I think in that sense, it's been pretty normal, honestly.
Okay.
I think a lot's been written and said, but
Yeah.
honestly, I think everybody, you get a track record. We've been here now 11 years or so, and there's been times we've been really active. There's been times we haven't. It's been trade deadlines where we've been active. I think kind of the perception, the Padres are always looking to make deals. Move. It's we're pretty our process has got a lot of steps to it and stages, and I think from our standpoint, I think we're not scared of taking opportunities. So sometimes I think from this offseason standpoint, it's pretty consistent in terms of if we get the value we want for a certain player, et cetera, we got to listen to it. I think that's the nature of all of these things. I think teams understand, but I think they also understand we're gonna hold to our lines. I think there's been trade periods where we've moved because we've gotten guys that we like. There's been other times where we've traded really good prospects or we've acquired superstar players, but we're not going to make a move just to make a move. I think the industry respects that, understands that, and that's how the offseason played out. I think it wasn't like anything out of the ordinary from that standpoint.
Talking to Padres president of baseball operations and general manager AJ Preller, and looking at the competition for the spot in left field, I look at the non-roster signings that scouting is such a big part of what you do that we don't really see so much as fans in the background. But how do you land on a guy like an Oscar Gonzalez and you see the potential for him to do what maybe he did before in Cleveland, or a Jonathan Perlaza? When you look at those guys and decide, I think that's someone who might be able to help us this season.
Yeah, I mean, I think again, Pete DeYoung on the pro scouting side, that's kind of his baby, is the minor league free agent side of things and the big league free agency. So, I mean, our staff, we've got a deep pro staff. Our scouts weigh in, our analysts weigh in, our coaching staff that's played against those guys in the minor leagues weigh in. tons of conversation throughout the offseason, prep list, and obviously everybody's for a little different reason. Ultimately, it's to try to help the organization. Sometimes at the minor league level, hey, we think this guy can just be a good organizational kind of contributor. Most of the time, it's because we think they have a chance to contribute at the big league level. And again, we've seen it, different pickups over the years. Last year's team, like how valuable, some of the guys that came up either as extra pieces in trades. Getting on Jeremiah Estrada off the waiver wire was a huge one. We've seen it in years past with like the Kirby Yates and the Brad Hand. So it's like, a lot of times like the flashy, the Manny or, the big free agent signing, that's obviously the big headline maker. And, but it's like the other moves are, it's a ton of work that goes into it. It's a ton of work behind the scenes. But I let our group, really dictate, the guys that they're choosing on that minor league free agent line. They've had a pretty good track record against some guys that have come in and contributed.
And obviously a lot of words are already being spoken and written about some of the young arms that you have in camp. Bradley Rodriguez is a guy we hear almost every day about the work that he's putting in, the ability that he has. Net is another guy that Schulte mentioned earlier. For you, how does that kind of shape up? Are you pretty excited about the depth that you have at all levels this year, or are you kind of still looking to maybe add depth in whether the big league level or the minor league level?
Yeah, I think it's not cliche. It's always looking to add, but I think again, like when we made the deals last year at the deadline, again, we're expecting a lot of those guys that we dealt to be big leaguers, and to show up in the big leagues. But we had a chance to go add Tanner Scott or Brian Hoeing or Jason Adam. To a team that we thought could win a championship. That comes at a cost. I think part of the reason why we did it, though, is because we thought we had this, like a pretty wide group of arms. We've seen a few of them here this spring training. Obviously Bradley, he's had a couple outings now. It's early, but I think you start to see why we're excited about him.
Yeah.
It's 3 real pitches plus stuff. He's got an attack mentality on the mound. Net faced the Dodgers the other day. He's got, real shapes to his pitches, 5 or 6, that we think can play at the big league level. Again, the consistency, that's the difference between a minor league prospect that flashes you, major league type tools and ability versus somebody that can do it at the big league level. So I think for both of those guys, Francis Pena as well, it's going to be about, like how consistent they can get at kind of harnessing the plus ability we've seen, the plus pitches we've seen, and making it more consistent over the course of the next few months to see if they can help us this year at Petco.
Well, and the big two that everyone talking about, Salas and DeVries, of course, we had a chance to watch them when we were out here at fantasy camp. They're out here getting their work, and then the work that they put in so far in spring training. You got to be pretty thrilled about their progress right now. What do you kind of foresee with Ethan and Leo moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, they're it's exciting. Again, like these spring training games, you get a chance to see kind of your established guys working their way into regular season shape. You get to see some of the names we brought on that are new to the organization, and then you kind of see the progression of a Salas or a DeVries. And I think so far it's been really positive. Obviously, I think that bat that we saw yesterday in the I guess the 9th inning there from Leo, that's what our coaches have seen. That's what our scouts have seen over the last few years and last year in A ball. So he's with Leo, he looks like he belongs at a super young age. So those are good signs. We've had Tatis and Merrill and CJ and James Wood and others over the years. And, DeVries and Salas have that look. And I think Ethan kind of coming off of last year where so much hype, so much attention to him, kind of forget 18 years old still. But the catching ability is very real. He's a difference maker behind the plate. He's a guy that, like, with the bat, I think, again, like, he continues to, look up and make adjustments and has had some really quality AB so far, both in the live BPs on the backfields and in the game. So, you usually win with strong players up the middle. I don't think there's too many systems in the game that, catcher, shortstop, and, center field with Jackson that have guys that can be real plus players for a long time like we do.
Pudge Rodriguez was 19 when he made his debut. I mean, you just never know what can happen, and had a pretty good career in his own right.
AJ, I really appreciate it. Thank you for sitting down with us. We had a really fun first day here. You got a good group.
Yeah,
and,
you do.
We talked with Schulte about it, that there's some deliberate choices that are made of the kind of guys that are brought in here that have sometimes a little bit of edge and fire to them, but are good in a clubhouse.
Yep.
And I think that speaks well of the decisions you're making as well. So congratulations on that.
Yeah, I think I know the makeup piece, huge part of it, and then again, I think being able to give him to Mike and his staff, where Mike values the heck out of him, brings a group together, and we saw it last year. It's a very comforting feeling from a GM to go hand to a manager that you know is going to get the most out of their ability.
Awesome.
Are you healthy again, or
Yeah,
not just the flu, but
Always day to day.
Tony
day to day.
Tony
Okay.
Gwynn Jr. said you need to get healthy so you can get back on the court. What's the basketball game?
He's usually the injured one.
He's the injured
yeah,
one.
He always is.
How's your game right now?
Non-existent.
Non-existent.
My game's watching UCSD and San Diego State right now. That's my game. So.
Why not? One last question.
Go ahead. Yeah.
You love basketball so much. Why didn't you go try to build
Yeah.
a championship basketball team?
I don't really love. I've always loved baseball more, you
Yeah.
know, and I like to enjoy. Right now, you don't really go play pickup baseball to get some exercise. So maybe some guys do in that senior men's type type
exactly.
world. But
Yes.
yeah, I enjoy the exercise and the competition, the camaraderie of the basketball.
There's
scene.
plenty of exercise to
Like
be
me,
had.
I
on
get
a
emotional
Sunday,
about the
AJ.
Aztecs game, but that's just because I let myself be a total fan of it.
That's
I
true.
don't have to worry about
That's
it.
true.
Exactly.
That's true.
Thanks, AJ.
Appreciate it, guys.
All right,
Thanks.
that is it. We are at the end of our first program. What a great 4 hours that was. I don't know how we're going to top ourselves tomorrow, but we
I
just
don't
still
either.
have guys like Manny Machado
Yep.
who are supposed to stop by with us. Plenty of people to still chat with over the next couple of days while we're still here in Peoria, broadcasting live from
I've been
Padres Spring
told
Training.
Jason Hayward will be by
Nice.
tomorrow.
Very excited
Connor
to talk to
Joe
him.
is definitely
Love it.
stopping
What a
by
story
tomorrow.
he's got.
Connor Joe, I've been told he's going to arrive right around 7 when we start here, 6 a.m. in San Diego.
Okay.
So if you want to hear Connor Joe, you're going to be with us right at the start.
Love Connor Joe. Always have. Great dude. Great dude.
And how
Great
cool is
dude.
this? Team Germany is out here. I did not know
yeah,
that.
I see Deutschland on the
Yeah.
on the front
Like,
of jerseys. You
like
got minor
40
leaguers
guys walked
playing,
by.
playing the minor leaguers. You got to find some competition anywhere. Searching for teams to come in. They
Should have
just all
brought my
came in with
glove.
their bags.
I should have brought my glove. Come on.
All right, Woods
has a pretty good German accent. You can sneak in with the team. You can sneak in with the team.
He's over there talking to one of them now. He also thinks we're done. We're not.
Yeah,
done.
we're not done
still
with the
live
show
on the
yet.
air.
We're not quite finished with the program yet. But that's okay. We've got Annie and Elston will be coming
Oh,
up next.
man.
Sammy's going to be here all day. So we'll have many more updates for you here from Padres Spring Training. You will not miss a single thing. We got you well covered on 97.3 The Fan all week long, especially
What a
this
morning.
week. All right, that's it for us. A lot of people we got to thank. Frank back in the studio. Frank Marchese doing a great job. Got to thank Craig Huner, Darren Feeney, Danny Sanchez, and the PR team here at the Peoria Sports Complex. For Paul Reindl, Stephen Woods, I'm Ben Higgins. Have a great rest of your Wednesday from all of us here at San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.